someone you care about needs food assistance, we have resources for you, including food distribution locations with an interactive map. Also, learn how you can make a difference for friends and neighbors in need, all at 1075thefan.com.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
From the DriveHubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WIBC HD2, W298BP, WIBC HD3, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Big hole for Jonathan Taylor. There he goes again. 50, 40, down the far sideline. He might do it again. 10, 5, touchdown. INDY.
The Eastern Conference Championship has been captured by the Indiana Pacers.
Alex Pillow wins the 109th Indianapolis 500.
This is the Fan Morning Show with KB, JB, and Jeff.
Good morning and welcome into New Year's Eve, the eve of the biggest college football game in the history of Indiana football. Good morning, Kevin Bowen. Good morning, James Boyd. It's good to see you all again. It's been a while. Feels like it's been a while. It has been almost a week and a half. A lot's been going on. I just want to say quickly, thanks for everybody who's reached out over the past 2 weeks, especially you guys. Lost my mom on the 18th, and as fate would have it, you guys have heard about the super flu that's going around. The entire house got it the 19th, the day after my mom passed away, and we were literally, the four of us, bedridden for like 4 straight days in the middle of all that stuff. Then we finally recovered enough to get to her folks' house for Christmas, and we had some Christmas there, and then just got back yesterday. But I want to thank everybody for reaching out, the messages, the kindness, especially the staff over at Rose Senior Living that took such great care of my mom in her last year and a half here. She was an incredible, bright, wonderful woman that worked for the United States Geological Survey for her entire career. She helped my stepfather discover some huge things. The two of them were on the team. He led the team. She was on the team. Discover the 4th largest gold mine in the history of the world because of his techniques and the things that they did. Life well lived, wonderful people, loving, had 4 great parents after both my parents got remarried, but thanks again for everything, and it's good to see you guys. It's good to be back in the saddle again. I can't wait to get going because there's a lot to talk about since I've been gone, Kevin Bowen.
Amen to that. Great to have you back. Certainly condolences, and I know throughout November and December, you know, when you've shared some stories off the air about your mom, it was great to hear those stories, and you could tell how close you two were. So glad you got the family time, and happy to have you back. And yeah, it is. It's quite the New Year's Eve. We started off the week saying things I'm not used to saying. It's Rose Bowl week for the Indiana Hoosiers, and here we are on Rose Bowl Eve. It's not New Year's Eve. It's Rose Bowl Eve for the Indiana Hoosiers, which is utterly amazing.
It is incredible, and obviously you went to a Big Ten school at Illinois. You know what it's all about. Hard to believe that, and I know the changing landscape.
That's bowl winning Illinois, James Boyd.
True.
How about that?
Bowl winning
How
Illinois.
about this? I was going to say, Jim, I don't really know what that's about because when I was in college.
I can't even tell you what the bowl game was Illinois won yesterday, but I know they won a bowl.
When I went to school, they won one bowl game when I was a freshman, the Heart of Dallas Bowl, whatever that is. So a little bit higher standards for IU. And just real quick, I do want to, again, wish some condolences to you and your family. You talked about your mom. You know how close I am with my mom, so I can only imagine. So glad to have you back, and obviously we'll support you in what we can.
Well, it's terrific to have you guys as teammates. I've talked about that in the past. I'll continue to talk about that. But what I was going to get back to is I know that this incredibly fast-changing college sports landscape that we have, and, you know, John Calipari and Tom Izzo have been talking about the way things are in basketball, and we can touch on that a little bit later on. This is the last year there's an official tie-in of any kind from the Big Ten to the Rose Bowl. After this, it's just random. Whatever happens, happens. It kind of feels like it's been that way the last couple of years, but this is it. This is kind of the last hurrah. I feel like Indiana's got the Big Ten Conference on their back going into this one too, KB.
Yeah, there is, you know, when Scott Dockerman joined us yesterday, James, he mentioned there is kind of a Midwest aura with the Rose Bowl. I thought that was kind of a good way to put it. Obviously, the rich history with the Big Ten Conference, and I don't know if we will get the old sunset over the San Gabriels tomorrow, given how the weather might look, although potentially maybe the rain will be out of there by the 1 o'clock local time kick. But, yeah, I think, you know, Indiana playing in a quarterfinal football game probably speaks for itself. The fact that it is the Rose Bowl, the fact that it is Alabama, probably just kind of adds to, you know, what everyone's feeling come 4 o'clock tomorrow. I'll do at some point today. Hope we can get to the Joe Buck clip from last week when he joined us, James, because I just thought, that was in the 9 o'clock hours, a little bit later in the show, and I get a lot of people are traveling. But hearing his fandom, hearing him describe, what this has been like for him, I thought was pretty cool. So maybe we'll have a chance to play it. And I did have to laugh yesterday when Kurt Cignetti at Rose Bowl Media Day has to utter the phrase of, "I shouldn't have to build Alabama up," was one of the wilder phrases I think I've ever heard in a press conference setting, given the history of those two programs. Imagine if you were living wherever, under a rock, Mars, whatever, Greenland, I don't know why I picked there, and someone told you the Indiana football coach is going to have to say the phrase in a press conference, "I shouldn't have to build Alabama up." But, that's kind of how it is with Indiana as, a pretty convincing favorite.
Yeah, you know
in
what?
This one.
I'll listen to some of the media stuff from yesterday as well, and one of the questions he got asked was, well, do you have to tell your players that they're playing this Alabama, not the mystique of Alabama? And his response was, well, you know more about the mystique than them because all they do is watch the tape. And I was like, what a savage response. And, again, it speaks to just how different IU is at this point in time and also how different Alabama is. They're a good team, but not the great, infallible teams that we saw in the past.
Yeah, I thought there's a terrific piece in the Indy Star this morning. We've talked about it a lot as the season's gone along. But there's so many ties right now between Indiana and Alabama and their coaching staffs going into this game. And it was a nice article in the Star today about how that coaching staff at Alabama, they always cheer for Indiana, except for this week, obviously, because they're going head-to-head. But Kurt Cignetti famously on that staff for a couple of years with Nick Saban at the very beginning of his national championship run. Then he kind of becomes his own man. The fact that a couple of those guys were here with Tom Allen, and now they've gone full circle, and they're back. Kellen DeBoer running Alabama there. Crazy how small the world in college football truly is when you start to see how interconnected all these coaches and their coaching moves and things like that have been over the years. That'll be an interesting storyline tomorrow, too.
Yeah, and again, I continue to be really bullish on Indiana in this matchup. I think the fact that they can run the football as consistently as they have ran it all year long, and Alabama is one-dimensional offensively. Even before you play Indiana, they're one-dimensional. Think about how many teams Indiana made one-dimensional this year from a defensive standpoint. Alabama can't run the football. So the fact that Indiana walks into this game already facing an offense that has to throw it to win it, we'll see how Mother Nature potentially impacts that. I like Indiana by 2 scores tomorrow.
It's going to be really interesting to watch Indiana go into a college football playoff game as the favorite over Alabama. And to Kevin's point, you start looking at Indiana's football team, and they suffered that bizarre, strange injury to one of their leading defensive linemen coming off the field in that Big Ten championship game. But all 3 phases of the game, special teams, defense, offense, there's no real weakness there, James. They're really good on all those things.
Yeah, they're a complete team, and they've shown they can win in a variety of ways, in big moments, clutch moments. We saw a low-scoring game in the Big Ten Championship. We had to lean on your defense and make the big plays at the end. You did that. So hats off to them. And honestly, I'm just excited for the matchup because I feel like it's been forever since we've seen what has happened. Honestly, it has been forever, right? Not to be crude about it, but I want to say the last time IU played a football game, Daniel Jones was still a starting quarterback of the Colts. I believe the next day is when he tore his Achilles down there in Jacksonville. So, yeah, it's been quite a while. A lot has changed since then.
I think the Pacers had won a game last time.
That is true as well. And now we're talking about, going into Week 18 with Riley Leonard as QB1. A formal announcement will be announced later today, but got that confirmed. And shout out to Stephen Holder of ESPN for reporting that first yesterday. But it is the rookie 6th-round pick out of Notre Dame who also played in some pretty big college football playoff games last year, who's going to get the crack at it against the Houston Texans defense that is very good.
Thing about sports, it's all hanging by a thread. It's so narrow here. You win a championship because a field goal goes wide right by a foot, or all these things that happen. You look at the Game 7 for the NBA Finals last year when Tyrese Hallebertton unfortunately goes down in a game that it looked like Indiana had a really good chance to win, right? It just goes quick. And it's one of those, we like talking about, the last time Indiana played at the Rose Bowl, the president was so-and-so back in the 60s, right?
Real.
And all of a sudden now, just think of how long these last few weeks have been. You're right. The last time this happened, Riley Leonard was still just a third-string backup somewhere, and Daniel Jones was still your guy. The Pacers had won a basketball game.
Phillip Rivers was still in
which it feels
retirement.
like forever. This last 6 weeks have been like a little microcosm in and of itself when you take a look at the entire Indiana sports landscape, James. It's been crazy.
There you go. This is sports, and this is Indiana sports for that matter. We've had quite the year to cover.
Man, oh man, we have. Speaking of covering, the head coach for the Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle, is going to join us at 9:30 this morning, and then at 8 o'clock, Stephen Holder, as he does every Wednesday. He doesn't care whether it's New Year's Eve. He's good to go, man. He's ready to get it done.
I don't know if he's going to be out there gallivanting those streets later on, Kevin. We'll have to check and see.
He's got a big one tonight. Again, we'll have the first quarterfinal game tonight, and I'm a little surprised that the Miami-Ohio State spread is as big as it is. It's approaching double figures here, and I don't know. Maybe I'm giving Miami a little bit too much credit, but that is one that I would take the Hurricanes, and I think it'll be a really interesting game. But, yeah, in Stephen Holder's world, it is a typical Wednesday. So the Colts will have their normal media availability, as James said. Riley Leonard, the expected starter. I guess we'll wait to see, Phillip Rivers' status. Is he done? Is he Fairhope, Alabama bound? Is he the backup? What exactly is the plan for him? So, yeah, a little bit of news items to cross off the list. And, I think anytime you get to this point, James, we didn't touch on it a lot the first 2 days of the week. Maybe we can get to it today, but it's kind of an annual thing for me when we get to this point of the season and when Week 18 has no bearing on your playoff chances. You're already eliminated. Who is this the last game for? What Colts players will put on a uniform for the last time? Are there Colts players under contract for next season that could be putting on a uniform for the last time? That's not usually something that we say about in the Chris Ballard era. Obviously, regime will dictate a whole lot of that.
Shane
but
Steichen is this the last time he puts on a headset.
Sure.
As the head coach.
So a lot of those types of questions outside of just seeing Riley Leonard make his first start here in the NFL.
All right, lots to get done today. As always, the text line going to be open, 239-1070. You can call us on that phone line as well, 239-1070. We'll get to some of those as the day rolls along. We got a lot to talk about with some big events coming up and a lot of things to get to as we continue on a New Year's Eve 2025. Right here, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Your home for Indy sports. Now with even more ways to listen.
Listen on air.
Online at 1075thefan.com.
And on our free app.
Stay connected to all things Indy sports, including the latest news, show blogs, and catch up on what you've missed with our podcast.
We're never more than just a click away.
Download our app at Google Play and on the App Store. From your home for Indy sports.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Stop just hoping the right applicants find your job. Sponsor it on Indeed and match with quality talent. Start at Indeed.com/credit. Again, that's Indeed.com/credit.
Jake Query here. Each weekday noon to 3, guests appear live on the Java House Peel and Pour guest line. Use code JAKE25 at javahouse.com to save 25% on your first order.
Hi, I'm Dallas, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. You know she loves her Shane Company engagement ring, but you also want to surprise her for her birthday, anniversary, or just because she deserves it. Why not get her a bigger diamond with our easy trade-up program? We'll give you the full credit of your original natural diamond purchase toward a new one. Her new diamond only has to be $1 more. You only pay the difference. How's that for an easy trade-up? Visit us in-store or at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It's a new season with a new QB.
Football is back.
And so are Bud Light Blue Fridays. Every week, join JMV starting at 3 for ice-cold Bud Light specials, football talk, and chances for you to snag tickets to Colts games and get some amazing swag on us. And get in on the football toss for a chance to win a trip to Las Vegas for your shot at Super Bowl tickets. This Friday, join JMV at Ralston's Draft House on Mass Ave. Bud Light Blue Fridays. 107.5 The Fan and Franciscan Health present Good for the Heart Fridays. Listen to Jake Query every Friday to hear a heartwarming story from our local community. Jake knows firsthand the importance of heart health. Jake and The Fan have teamed up with Franciscan Health to make a difference, one beat at a time. Good for the Heart Fridays, brought to you by Franciscan Health Heart Center. Learn proactive measures to keep your heart healthy and schedule your heart scan at franciscanhealth.org/screening bundles. Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed, or your money back. No matter how many times you failed in the past, this hypnosis is guaranteed to work.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about desserts like I used to.
Bridget, how much have you lost now?
I lost a total of 83 pounds.
Holy cow.
It's easy, it's fun, very relaxing, and very successful.
And I would just say go for it.
What are you waiting for? Lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed. Only $59.99. Hypnosis to destroy unwanted cravings, late night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Hypnosis Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss hypnosis 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking hypnosis at 8 p.m. Or Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss hypnosis 11 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
The Butler basketball season is rolling along. Don't miss your chance to get in on the action. Your next chance to get to Hinkle Fieldhouse to cheer on your Butler Bulldogs is Saturday, January 3rd at noon when the Dogs take on the Villanova Wildcats. Come see the sunlight shine through the windows at iconic Hinkle Fieldhouse. With most students home for break, there are some great unique seating options available, so buy your tickets now at butlersports.com/buy tickets. Be a part of Hinkle Magic and make Hinkle your second home this season.
The Lowe's Closeout event means the final savings of the season are here. It's your last chance to get deals on seasonal decor, tools, flooring, and so much more. Refresh your home, check off your project list, or simply stock up on the brands you trust. Shop now to grab amazing deals before they're gone. Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 1/7. Selection varies by location. While supplies last.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call. And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
It was a doubleheader in August and really hot inside the concession stand. So instead of waiting for people to come to me, I figured I'd walk around yelling, "Hot dogs here!" And that's how I became the first hot dog vendor in sports.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, it is New Year's Eve. Tomorrow, the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all, featuring Indiana and Alabama. It'll start at 4 p.m. with the kickoff. Our airtime here on The Fan begins at 3 p.m. with Don and everybody else. It'll be followed by the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss versus Georgia. I put another emphasis on it again, Kevin Bowen. The Indiana Hoosiers are in the college football playoff, and they are favored outright against Alabama.
Touchdown favorite at that, and I know a lot of people think it should even be higher, a little bit of the brand, if you will, of Alabama.
Well, put your money where your mouth is, people.
Bringing that to a touchdown. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. I think the healthy return of Omar Cooper Jr. is huge. You know, he got hurt early in that Big Ten title game. And
it was like first or second series, I think.
Indiana played 3.5 quarters without, arguably their best weapon. So I think him back in the lineup. I get the Stephen Daly injury is one we've talked a lot about here, but I think having Cooper back is huge for that offense.
I still find myself about every other day going down the YouTube video rabbit hole of that catch that Cooper made against Penn State. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, that was on my list of top 10 moments that we've had in Indiana sports this year.
Yep, no question about that for everybody. So Indiana, Alabama, Rose Bowl tomorrow, 3 p.m. airtime right here on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. And then after our postgame coverage, we'll join Ole Miss and Georgia at the Sugar Bowl in progress. Lots of college football to tell you about because it's that time of year right now, right? And how about your Illinois, the Fighting Illini, winning against Tennessee at the Music City Bowl, 30-28 yesterday in a thriller.
Honestly, shout out to them. I know they got blown out by IU, and they're not on their level earlier this year, but that program has gone through quite the turnaround and kind of similar in respect to IU because when I was there, they were terrible, and I believe they had maybe 9 consecutive, losing seasons or something crazy like that, and then Brett Bielema came in, and now they have back-to-back 10-win seasons, so respect to him.
Also yesterday, the Independence Bowl, Louisiana Tech, a winner over Coastal Carolina, 23-14. Thrilling game last night at the Alamo Bowl. TCU in overtime beats USC by a score of 30-27. That was actually just a fun game. I kind of nodded off to sleep while that one was going on.
Yeah, I saw TCU scored on a 3rd and 20 in overtime to win the game. Dude broke like 3 tackles on the sidelines. One of the wilder finishes, honestly. Like at that point, you're thinking just try to get in field goal range. So, yeah, thankfully those bowl games are over. It's time to see the real people play.
A bunch of bowl games today, too, though. Vanderbilt takes on Iowa at the ReliaQuest Bowl. That one starts at noon. Duke and Arizona State will play in the Sun Bowl. Texas and Michigan, pretty good matchup there at the Citrus Bowl later on tonight. Utah and Nebraska play at 3:30. And then, of course, later on tonight, a couple of playoff games. Miami plays Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and in the other one, Oregon against Texas Tech. Which game are you most looking forward to on that one?
Yeah, Oregon Texas Tech will be tomorrow, right? That's
tomorrow
the
at
noon game.
Sorry, yeah.
So, again, I'll point to tonight. I mean, I think Miami, Ohio State, I don't know. One of the games of my childhood, if you will, was that national title game. And I have the vivid memories of.
Was this, 02?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Chris Gamble and all that.
You got that right, James. 2002.
And that Miami team, just an epic game, really. So, yeah, I can't wait for that. And again, I'm just kind of done with these other bowl games and who's opted out and who's not. I'm ready for the quarterfinals.
You didn't like the Xbox Bowl? I loved it. It was great. Great stuff. Pop-Tart Bowl. We're losing traditions here, Kevin.
I forgot to ask you, Kevin, like any part of you felt like you were missing out seeing that Pop-Tart go through and having all the BYU players eat that over the weekend?
As soon as I saw it wasn't brown sugar, I didn't want any part of it.
I agree. I'm a big brown sugar guy myself.
More Pop-Tart, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right, so the 3 games tomorrow, Oregon, Texas Tech at noon, then Alabama, Indiana at 4, and then at 8, Ole Miss and Georgia. College basketball last night. Butler hung tough, but they couldn't handle Creighton. 89-85 was the final score. Butler falls to 10-4. Nice game from Michael Ajayi. He had 16 points and 13 rebounds, but they just couldn't get outside shots to fall when they needed to yesterday.
Yeah, and that's a Creighton team that hasn't been what they've been in the past, but still a very good program. So tough loss there and a chance for them to regroup. All
right, NBA later on tonight. Pacers taking on the Orlando Magic. That'll be over at the Fieldhouse tonight. Indiana has lost 9 games in a row. They now, James, have the worst record in the NBA at 6-27. In their defense, they have now used 24 different players on the roster this year.
Wow. I want to say the last time they might have lost 10 games in a row was the year that I covered them, when they ended the year on a 10-game losing streak and then ended up getting their first single-digit draft pick in 30 years. It felt like that was the year they also blew it up and traded for Tyrese Hallebertton. So, yeah, the vibes are a lot different from where they were then, landing a franchise player in Tyrese Halleberton until now, trying to rebuild, I guess, around him when he gets back healthy next year.
And, Kevin, we know that the NBA in particular is a game of runs. There's usually 2 or 3 for every team during a game, and whoever has the one more run usually wins. But it feels like in this stretch, Indiana's given up one of those runs that's like a 26-4 run every night, and that just can't get out of that hole.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody, that will actually be an afternoon tip today, so no JMV, right?
Yeah,
today. So, yeah, that's the New Year's Eve matinee, which I think has kind of been the tradition almost for the Pacers to host the New Year's Eve afternoon game. And one thing to note, too, the Pacers, and again, their injury situation takes the cake. I want to make that very clear. But, it's no Franz Wagner today for the Magic. They have run into a lot of those games, too. When they play the Heat over the weekend, no Bam Adebayo, no Tyler Hero. There's been a lot of those games this season where the opponent has been without their best player and or multiple of those. I think that kind of adds to the disappointment that you're seeing. Again, the Pacers injury situation is longer than just Tyrese Hallebertton, but they're starting to get healthier for what it's worth. We'll see if they make one last-ditch effort. And remember, with the Magic this year, that's Desmond Bane back in the state of Indiana playing here.
Yeah, Pacers again start at 3 p.m. airtime today right here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Colts play the Texans on Sunday for Indianapolis. Is it a meaningless game, or is there a lot to look at there, James?
I won't call it meaningless because I feel like that would disrespect the spirit of Phillip Rivers.
I was going to say,
and
Phillip
how much
he'll fight
laid
you on
out
that.
why all things matter, Caleb. But I will say this. I do think it matters from the standpoint of you want to get a look at your young guy in Riley Leonard. But beyond that, not much. I mean, to your point about the wins and losses against the Texans and the Jaguars, Kevin, if they do beat this Texans team, good, but it's too late at this point. So I'm not looking at this game and thinking I'm going to have some grand takeaways from it other than Riley got his feet wet and hopefully he stays healthy.
Who will play, who won't play that we know of coming up this week? Are there players that they just want to hold out and say, hey, just shut it down until next year?
Yeah, I mean, nothing, I guess, obvious outside of the injured reserve guys. I mean, we'll see about...
Oh, I got one that's obvious. Sauce. He should not play.
Well, again, he should not play versus he will not play are two different conversations.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So,
I was just like, hold on. We were on the same page with this, brother.
Right. We will await, I guess, official word on that. So, yeah, I mean, Sauce Gardner would certainly be atop that list. And, Tanner Bortolini, for example, he's in concussion protocol. Does he give it a go? But, outside of Phillip Rivers, I guess, and again, we'll see if he is the backup or not. Nothing from an official status outside of the DeForest Buckners and the Braden Smiths of the world here. But yeah, I do not need to see Sauce Gardner playing football on Sunday. We'll see if the Colts feel the need to put him out there.
All right, anything else you guys want to throw in before we head on to the rest of the show?
I noticed you didn't mention Notre Dame basketball.
Just a great college basketball game last night.
I did not mention Notre Dame basketball.
One of the more epic games.
I thought that was going to be on top of your list.
Caleb Zuber, you stayed up.
For the first half,
for the
and then it did put me to
you
sleep,
bailed early?
But I did.
One of the epic college basketball games you'll ever see last night out there in Palo Alto. That is now 2 true road wins for Notre Dame. How many teams have 2 true road wins here before the new year?
I was going to say, you're asking me this stuff before we get to the bracketology part of the season.
So I'll let you guys look up your Notre Dame basketball research. I don't want to spill the beans on how unbelievable of a win that was for the Irish last night.
I told you this morning, Kevin, Stanford was stuck on 12 points for like 30 minutes of real time. It was impressive. So
85 Bears.
I thought you were
you were trolling me. This is horrendous.
2,000 Ravens.
Oh my gosh.
It was unbelievable.
I thought you were going to tell me that
both of these teams out of Division
2025 Denver Broncos. Epic defense for Micah Shrewsbury's bunch last night.
I've seen better scores at Newcastle Fieldhouse.
Was it the defense or was it the Stanford lineup?
The Notre Dame football team outscored their basketball team in their game against Stanford this season.
Boy.
Shout out to Mark Zachary.
Any Illinois updates you want to give us, James, before we head to break?
Shout out to Mark Zachary in all seriousness.
Right there was enough. 18 of 56 shooting, and they win the game.
For our local audience, Mark Zachary, the football player from Ben Davis, he got in early last night for Notre Dame on the hardwood there. So don't typically see that in today's day and age of college athletics.
Well, he's a defensive player for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish on the gridiron, so
he brought some defense last night.
Translates to last night.
Pretty cool that Mark Zachary is able to get that going there in his freshman year in South Bend.
Like oh, my gosh.
All right. There you go. A complete segment on Notre Dame basketball right there from Kevin Bowen. Coming up in a moment, we will talk a little bit more about Indiana football at the Rose Bowl and the Colts. What do they and don't they do in their final game of the season this week? That's coming up next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The Colts wind up the regular season with the Houston Texans. Coverage Sunday morning at 10 on 97.1 Hank FM.
Welcome to Wawa. We're open 24/7, so when the sun goes down but everyone's still up, Wawa has your late night fuel. Headed to a hangout? Stop in for snacks and sodas. Binge your favorite shows with burgers and hoagies. Gather around the table with garlic knots and a cheesy Wawa pizza. Or just chill on the couch with fries and whatever milkshake sounds good. Your night just got a whole lot tastier. Freshly made burgers, pizza, and so much more. When you got a late night craving, you got a Wawa. Price and participation may vary by store.
On the golf tee, it's Skechers World Champions Cup. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. It's PGA Champions Tour golfers from all over the world. Team USA versus Team Europe versus Team International. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. The Competition will be tense, but feet will be comfy. Tune in to Skechers World Champions Cup, final round of golf on Sunday, December 7th on ABC, 1 to 5 p.m.
We Grow Hair Indy, they're the gold standard when it comes to hair restoration. They're ready to help you out today. Northwest side, that's building number 2 at the Pyramids. And if you go online again, wegrowhairindy.com, you're going to see the before and after pictures and videos. And I honestly think that's a great place to start in helping you tell their story. Certainly you want to contact them. Free evaluation awaits, private evaluation awaits, virtual evaluation. If any of that floats your boat, contact them today. They are the best in the business, and they just happen to call the 317 home. It is the gold standard for hair restoration. We Grow Hair Indy.
Food insecurity is an urgent problem, one that impacts real Hoosiers. You can help today. Gleaners needs donations. Your contribution goes further with Gleaners. For every $10 you give, Gleaners leverages their resources to turn your $10 into $90 worth of groceries for families who desperately need help right now. Your gift benefits local community members, and every dollar counts. Gleaners also needs volunteers now to help with warehouse distribution. Go to gleaners.org and donate or get involved today.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh, no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
With Wawa's Rewards program, you can rack up points on the items you buy every day, even fuel. Boost your totals with a breakfast sizzling. Score points with your morning coffee. With Wawa Rewards, points put the power in your hands. You can choose to redeem them for what you love most, like an iced latte for an extra pick-me-up or your lunchtime hoagie. Download the Wawa app today. When you gotta get rewarded, you gotta Wawa. Fuel rewards not available in New Jersey or were legally prohibited. See full details at wawarewards.com. Price of participation may vary by store.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Good morning. Hope your Wednesday's going well. I don't know how many people have to actually go into work today, but if you do, man, hopefully you get off early and you go home and you can watch some sports and get ready to watch maybe even the Pacers in the afternoon and get yourself loaded up for the Rose Bowl tomorrow. And can you imagine, when was the last time New Year's Day? It's always fun to watch college football, but this is certainly a different feel around here than we've ever had before, certainly in your lifetime, Kevin. I mean, we always know there's the big games on New Year's Day, but to have, I say it again, I'll say it a million times, it still sounds surreal. Indiana's playing in maybe the biggest game of the day, maybe the biggest game of their school's history on New Year's Day at the Rose Bowl tomorrow.
Yeah, that last part, I don't think there's any maybe about it. It is indeed their biggest game. I mean, they have played in, one other Rose Bowl, and this one obviously could lead to a national championship if they're able to string three together here. So, I mean, yeah, what do you got? 2000, was that Purdue, Washington? 99? I'm trying to think what exactly the year was the last time a local team,
Been a minute.
if you will, has been in the Rose Bowl, excluding obviously the team in South Bend. So cannot wait. And again, the weather, been looking at it probably way too much. It looks like there is a chance that it might clear out for kickoff. That's 1 o'clock local time out there. The rain tomorrow. I actually think the rain would favor more of Indiana. I think Alabama's one-dimensional, and the one dimension is they can't run it. So I do think that would favor them.
I do have a question about the viewing experience for those tuning into this IU game who won't be obviously traveling out to the West Coast. So I think I went over this when I was talking about the finals with the Pacers. If you are a diehard IU fan, where are you watching the game? Like, are you at home and it's just you and like the diehards and your family, or you and your boys or your girls or whatever? Or are you out and trying to experience that game? Because I'm always torn. Because myself, I'm like, man, if it's a big game and I'm really invested in, I kind of want to be like in my own little hut. But I can also make a case for it'll be very like cool to be downtown for something like that.
Shout out to Huts out there. I haven't heard that in a while there.
What year are we living in?
I know. I feel like I should head up to Camp Tecumseh or something all of a sudden, Conner Prairie, and watch the game, listen to Don. Well, I also think how many establishments have to all of a sudden change their holiday hours? I would assume a lot probably are closed for New Year's Day, and all of a sudden Indiana pops up on the schedule and said, we got to open up. So, yeah, I am team lock me inside, because it'd be pretty embarrassing if I acted like that in public.
So if I took my sons or some the family wanted to go watch the game at a local establishment in Bloomington tomorrow, which I think would be an outstanding atmosphere, where would I go? What do you think the best place to go would
Knicks,
be?
you go upstairs, you go Yogi's.
I was going to say, I went to, was it Buffalo's?
Buffalo's.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah, you got a lot of options down there. Yeah, take the keys off or take the cars off Kirkwood for tomorrow, right? I guess students aren't back on campus, but that could get a little dicey there.
Of course, everybody might be in. Most people might be in Pasadena too.
Well, it's funny. I remember one time when I was my senior year, IU played Ohio State in basketball on New Year's Eve. It was actually one of their better wins in the Crean era. So I'd be curious if you are a student, maybe you would want to go back anyways for New Year's. Maybe that's a good reason to fire up the old apartment and celebrate down there in Bloomington.
And then there's the age-old dilemma. You got a little bit of money, you can go make a trip to see your football team play in the college football playoff. Do you spend that money now to go see your team play the Rose Bowl in Alabama? Or do you say to yourself, I think they're going to beat Alabama. I'm going to save my money for a later trip in the college football playoff.
You could drive to Atlanta, right? Peach Bowl coming up next week, is that right?
Yeah, but you still got to pay for hotels and tickets and stuff like that.
Caleb, you got this Joe Buck audio?
I do.
We had Joe Buck on last week, and again, this happened in the 9 o'clock hour, so I know our audience probably at this hour, maybe didn't get a chance to catch it. My father-in-law actually is out there. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law were on a flight yesterday out to Pasadena, and he was saying, hey, I caught the Joe Buck interview and really, really enjoyed it. I felt like this clip I enjoyed here from Joe Buck, kind of explaining his fandom a little bit and, how he talks about IU on the national landscape.
First of all, you said it perfectly right, because I did not graduate. I walked after 3.5 years to do the Cardinals. I was like, well, I can either stay in school and hope someday to get the Cardinal job, or I can take the Cardinal job. And I opted for thanks to nepotism, option B. So I took the Cardinal job. Obviously, best friends with so many guys that, were in my fraternity there at IU, and which was Sigma Nu, in case you're wondering. And so we're on this gigantic text chain. I think they kind of talked me into it. You could feel it brewing last year, but I think any of us who've been fans over the years, we got teased into thinking that it was legit, and they seem to always play, or at times play, some of the bigger programs really tight, and then they would lose the game, and it was like, are we ever going to get over the hump? And I think it changed last year when they looked better. I think the eye test with the way they look is just different. And yeah, they lost to Ohio State last year, They lost in the college football playoff, but it just felt different. And then this year, I think we can all agree that in the past, the game at Penn State, the catch was insane. But in years past, he would have been out of bounds. But this year, he was inbounds. The game at Oregon, that's a game that IU doesn't win in the past. And then I think even in the Ohio State game, I did a podcast with a guy, Jimmy Traina, who covers the business that I'm in. And he's like, yeah, but that game didn't mean anything. And to me, I said it meant less to Ohio State, but it meant a lot to Indiana. And the fan base is one thing. But I think the team, to say, well, we can beat Ohio State. We just did, and we dominated them defensively. I think that all of that goes into giving all of us a real feel that they're good enough to win the whole thing. Alabama scares me, I'm not going to lie, because of their pedigree and because of their size and their athleticism. But, I think Indiana probably scares them. And I don't think I've ever been able to say that in the past. They're a favorite for a reason.
Indiana probably scares them. Can you even imagine? Again, I keep going back. Can you even imagine? But there is one of the voices of the sport, football, Joe Buck, talking about Indiana in comparison to Alabama, and they probably scare Alabama just a little bit, Kevin. To steal one from Uncle Vern, in your life. Right?
Yeah, I'll go back to what I said to lead off the show. I'm watching Curt Cignetti's Rose Bowl press conference yesterday, and he literally utters the phrase, I shouldn't have to build up Alabama. It's like, wait, what? What world are we in right now? The Indiana football coach says that, and I get why he says that. I mean, again, I know Joe Buck, played a little bit more of the Alabama brand there with his worry about it, but a lot of the college football people that I've talked to, read, et cetera, I mean, they fully expect Indiana to win this game and it to not be that close, really. And Alabama, I think, has had plenty of issues this season. So, it is quite a time to say the least.
Well, as you mentioned a little while ago, Omar Cooper will be back. He had the right leg injury early in the Big Ten title game. He has been cleared to play here in this Rose Bowl. 58 catches, 804 yards, 11 touchdowns, none bigger than the game-saving touchdown, the miraculous catch against Penn State. But Alabama's also getting a little bit healthier. They've had some time, too. They get the return of their edge rusher, LT Overton. So, both teams seem to be pretty healthy going into this one. That's what you want to see. And I think when you look at all of those things and you go up and down and you look at the line and everybody says Indiana favored by a touchdown over Alabama, yes, we keep talking about can you believe this, but at the same time, Indiana believes it. They know what they can do. Curt Cignetti's believed it from day one. He's got his guys believing it, to Kevin pointing out that can't believe I'm having to talk up Alabama, because I think everybody in college football that's watched this team does believe. If you've been watching this team game in, game out, series in, series out, you know that this is a solid football team, that every time they've been put on the mat, they get up and they respond. Whether it was the comeback win at Iowa, whether it was Mendoza throwing the pick six and then coming back to have a tremendous fourth quarter against Oregon, whether it was the catch by Cooper against Penn State, whether it was the defense just making stand after stand after stand against Ohio State, they have demonstrated against top competition that they are a good, great football team, James.
Yeah, I would agree, and they're led by the Heisman Trophy winner. And I get that this hasn't been the typical Heisman year, meaning the prolific numbers probably weren't there. If you look at the list of guys last year, for example, if Ashton Genty had the year that he had last year or this year, he's probably the Heisman. But I think if you look at the moments, and if that's what you're kind of weighing the award off of, which is what I thought it kind of leaned in favor of Fernando Mendoza, he met the moment every single time. I don't know if you can quantify that or really teach it. He's got some toughness, some clutch in him, and you'll probably need that if you want to run the table, because at this point, obviously, you can't drop any games and still be in it. So it is remarkable that they're the last team standing to not have a blemish on the record.
Well, and I think what makes Indiana truly great this season is, James, you bring up the Heisman Trophy winner. I could make a decent argument that's probably the third aspect of Indiana that I'm most confident in. I'd put their ability to run it and the ability to stop the run above Mendoza in their passing offense, which is kind of wild to say. But that's more how consistently good I think their run game has been, offensively and defensively. Obviously, Mendoza's had some historic late game moments. He's obviously had some other moments that the reason he's needed some of the heroics is because of fourth quarter interceptions, i.e. Oregon, i.e. I think Penn State, maybe even Iowa as well. So, it'll be interesting, I guess, if that, if Alabama, like you said, Jeff, they are getting a little healthier. Can their defensive line, maybe control some things? I mean, that might be one area where it could be a little bit more of a, back and forth affair. But I just keep on going back to that Oklahoma game. I mean, they got gifts to get back into that game. I don't see Indiana just handing those out like Oklahoma did.
Yeah. You talk about meeting moments, though. It's just consistently meeting the moment. And even going back to that Big Ten championship game with everything on the line and a big third down to say, you know what? We're just going to go for a big shot downfield to Becker, and it's going to be a perfect pass.
Charlie B
catch,
from Tennessee.
And it's just, bam. It's just every single time this year they've needed a moment. They've gotten the moment. They have not been overwhelming statistically. You're not talking about statistically one of the greatest college football teams of all time, but every time the game has been in the balance, whether they put themselves there or not, Kevin, they have answered the bell every single time.
And now you got my pops, the Raiders fan, hoping they lose out so they can get Fernando Mendoza. I don't think he knew who Fernando Mendoza was until about 3 weeks ago. And now he's on the bandwagon. We need a quarterback. Bring me him. He seems to be big and clutch. So there you go.
You talk about teams trying to get that number 1 overall pick. I was on the phone yesterday for a while with a good friend of mine who's a Giants fan, Jason Barrett of Barrett Media. And he was like, you watch. They're going to screw it up and win a football game on Sunday. That's what they do. That's just what they do.
I'll tell you what, okay, so coming up Sunday, we do have a football game on the other kind in the NFL for Colts and Texans. KB, what do you actually want to see in that game from Riley? Like, what would define a good game? Because personally, I don't think they're going to win the game. But if you leave it feeling relatively optimistic about him, what things will have happened?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think one of the big debates I have, James, heading into Sunday is, okay, offensively, what do they exactly do with Leonard? The best approach to keep him comfortable is probably running the Saturday college offense. It's dual threat the hell out of it. It's RPO it. It's stick it in Taylor's belly and, kind of play that game. Make, Houston have to be responsible for Riley Leonard with his legs. Whereas conversely, if you want him to grow as a quarterback and you want to, maybe expose him a little bit, but, again, it's all about growth. You probably have him throw it a little bit more than you would like. So, trying to win the football game, it looks college offense. If you're trying to develop him and, have him take some leaps that are necessary as a pocket passer, that would look different. So I think it'll be interesting to see the balance in that. But, I will continue to say with Leonard, by no means do I think this is Brock Purdy 2.0, but the question, I guess two questions are very real for me. Could Riley Leonard start 2 to 3 games for you in September next year? That would be the first question I have. And the second question I'd have is, can Riley Leonard be your backup of the foreseeable future? I think those are two very real questions that it's nice to get a little bit of answers on. I'm not going to act like one game obviously gives you all those answers, but those are the questions you have. Daniel Jones' injury history is going nowhere. I mean, and now he's added the
biggest one.
Yeah, the A word. So you need a competent backup quarterback. You're likely going to need that guy to start games for you in 2026. And, again, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, James, but like, you might need some quarterback in September. Maybe it's Leonard, maybe it's not. But how vital is it going to be for that guy to help you get a couple of wins in the first month of the season so you're not putting all this pressure on post-Achilles Daniel Jones to come back and save the season? I think what I would like to see from him is just don't look like an absolute turnover machine. Provide some consistent movement. When you are throwing the football, be decisive with it. and create a few more chunk plays than the offense we saw over the last 3 weeks.
So here's the other question. What if you get the kind of performance you got when he subbed in for Daniel Jones against Jacksonville?
I think you would sign up for that. Yeah.
That would suggest that you found your backup quarterback for the foreseeable future if he can play at that level, right?
Yeah, I don't want to make too much out of one game. I don't. There's part of me that sits here and says, okay, 2026 quarterback depth chart. Anthony Richardson's gone. Daniel Jones obviously will be on the shelf for a while in this offseason. Riley Leonard, and then go get some vet and let those two kind of handle it this offseason.
Well, Rivers, where are you going? If we need a veteran for the offseason, baby, come on, just stick around a little bit longer.
Hey, now, don't be stealing my thunder with that thought.
I'm trolling on this. I would absolutely.
You were poo-pooing it when I brought it up last week.
I respectfully, as much as I want to try to play that game now, no, I would tell him pack his bags immediately. But I was also on the record saying I would never ask him to come out of retirement. But we're here now, so.
Do you think he's the backup, by the way, on Sunday?
No, I actually think that he probably isn't. I mean, because otherwise, why'd you sign Seth Hennigan? Is it just because in case both quarterbacks go down on Sunday, you need another guy to go in there or something?
Because if you want to go movie route, Riley starts.
Here we go.
All of a sudden, Will Anderson
Here
Jr.
we go. Here we
gets
go.
him from the blind side. Unfortunately, Riley Leonard's injury history is well documented. All of a sudden, Will Anderson Jr. gets him from the blind side, late third quarter, Colts are down 4, and next thing you know, you look over at the sidelines.
This is what keeps Kevin Bowen up at night.
Man pats his belly.
11 o'clock at night.
Hops off the bench.
James
staring
Boyd
at the
rolls his
ceiling.
eyes from the press box.
Hey, James Boyd, you got a story. And that's all you care about. You got a story.
I ain't got no story. I'm getting on a
You
flight
got a
back to
story.
Indianapolis that night.
You've got a same meaningless football game to that.
I already told you, if the game goes to overtime, I will still be getting in an Uber
comes
going
off
to
the
the airport
bench,
to leave.
leads an 80-yard drive and a game winner to ride off into the Fairhope, Alabama sunset. How about that?
An 80-yard drive, 6 yards
to
at a
cap.
pop.
Ballard 5-year
I was gonna
extension.
say,
Steichen 5-year extension.
15-play drive.
Rivers lifetime contract.
Did you really need to say he pat his belly? I mean, come on, man.
Rub. I tried to pat Nellie's belly about 30
Honestly,
times last night to get her to fall back asleep.
When we're looking at this thing 6 months from now, how does the story play out? It was a great feel-good story. Amazing to watch his high school kids watching a guy throw for touchdowns in the NFL. But at the same time, it kind of was what it was. I mean, if you're just looking at it from a pure football perspective, it wasn't like an overwhelming performance.
It's a funny footnote in an otherwise bad season. That's kind of how I look at it. Now, respect to Phillip, loved everything he brought to the team.
It was inspiring.
Yeah, it was inspiring to a degree, but at the same time, I think in the grand scheme of things, 6 months from now, we will not be talking about that. We'll be talking about who's here or who's not regarding the head coach, GM, and quarterback for that matter.
I also was wondering, what's Riley Leonard thinking when they bring him in for the Hail Mary the other day? Like, I get it. This is my job now.
Hey, shout out to Riley Leonard. He uncorked that thing.
Yeah, he did. That's why they
Not
brought him
gonna
in
lie,
there.
when I saw Alec Pierce down there for a split second, I was like, oh, this is game.
Yeah, that Jacksonville DB made a nice play on it.
Yeah.
To locate it and pick that ball off there.
It was, again, though, when you talk about, I go back to what we said at the very top of the show. Sports is just everything is hanging by a thread, and you think of the entire year for Indiana sports, whether it's the first half of the season for the Colts and where they are now, whether it's Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement to throw a couple of touchdown passes out after not playing for 5 years, whether it's the Indiana Fever going within one game of going to the WNBA Finals without Caitlin Clark for most of the year, the Game 7 situation for the Pacers and Tyrese Hallebertton, the catch made at the back of the end zone by Omar Cooper, the comeback against Iowa and getting off the mat and responding at Oregon. All those things lead us to where we are, and it's all moments, and the big moments have belonged to Indiana and Fernando Mendoza this year.
We got to count down 3, 2, 1, right? We still got that on the list.
Still got that on the list.
Sports stories of the year here locally. We'll get to 3, 2, and 1 here at some point on this New Year's Eve show. Rose Bowl Eve show, as we're calling it. Not the New Year's Eve show, the Rose Bowl Eve show.
It's exactly what we're doing. Caleb, coming up in just a few minutes.
By the way, is it true about Mike Wells really leading the Brownsburg band in the parade tomorrow as the baton twirling coach?
That should be.
I don't know. I feel
It
like
should be. Does he put on the short shorts for that?
I think it's true. I think he's like doing the
Mike Wells in short shorts?
He's doing the twirling. Can you
With
imagine
fire on the end of each baton?
Wells with his poncho on, carrying the water bottles around to squeeze them in the kids' mouths?
Oh, man.
Caleb, take us to break. We'll talk to Stephen Holder in a moment.
Is that a huge part of the parade?
93.5.
These high school bands.
The Fan.
If it's happening with the Indianapolis Colts,
They give it to Taylor.
then it's happening on the Fan.
Jacksonville has the lead for the first time. The first touchdown of the season for Mo Alley Cox, and he made it with one hand. Colts back on top into the end zone, and it is intercepted by Jacksonville. Antonio Johnson ends the game, and the Colts losing skid now 6 games.
Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The official home of the Indy Sports Fan.
Ever wanted to try an Olympic and Paralympic sport? Try fencing. It's fast, safe, and easy to start. Find a beginner class near you at usafencing.org/tryfencing.
Heat and cool with nearly geothermal efficiency in places you can't fit ductwork with Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits.
Just go to absolutecomfort.org. That's absolutecomfort.org.
The gold standard for hair restoration. It is We Grow Hair Indy. Northwest side, that'd be the Pyramids, building number 2. I think back a couple years ago when I was approached first about this, and I was initially very hesitant. I was like, no. This is not something I'm going to do. This is not something that necessarily makes sense, blah, blah, blah. I don't need it, et cetera, et cetera. I don't like people touching me, frankly, and the recovery process is something that I'm a little worried about. But I talked with Darren Andrews and his staff, and, after really just probably 1, maybe 2 meetings with them, became a lot more reassured. And I think at the very least, that's where you owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to at least have the conversation. You're not committing to anything, but you get some education. You get some answers to the questions and the curiosity that you have. And then from there, you make the decision. Like for me, it was, okay, that recovery process, what is that going to look like? And sure, sleeping upright for a couple days wasn't ideal by any means, but that was really it. I went on a vacation with some buddies that next weekend. I was back at work, and 48 hours, it wasn't too strenuous whatsoever from that aspect to it. So contact them today. Get those answers to the different questions you might have. Again, it is WeGrowHairIndy.com. And up on the northwest side, building number 2 at the Pyramids, the gold standard for hair restoration, We Grow Hair Indy.
I'm Mark Boyle, voice of the Indiana Pacers. For your best shot at better water, go local with C&J Water. They're Hoosiers serving Hoosiers, bringing cleaner, safer, better-tasting water to homes across central Indiana. When you purchase a new water softener in November or December, C&J Water donates to the Pacers Foundation, helping those in need here at home. Better water for your family, helping those in need at home and abroad. For your best shot at better water, trust the local pros at C&J Water.
Hey, it's JMV. Are you hungry, Indy? Cluster Truck crushes all cravings. Pizza, taco, salads, and don't get me started on the salmon and roasted veggies. Oh, and delivery is always free. Order now at clustertruck.com and use my code BIGFAN for $5 off a $25 order or more.
Baseball great Lou Gehrig was known as the Iron Horse for playing 2,130 consecutive games. But it was his reaction to his greatest challenge, the fatal diagnosis of ALS, that made Gehrig a household name and a beacon of strength for all those facing the disease. The Live Like Lou Foundation honors Lou's legacy and inspires hope for a world where ALS is no longer fatal. Donate or volunteer today at livelikeLou.org.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696 and manage your diabetes as easy as...
From the DriveHubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WIBC HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.
Bring it.
You're listening to The Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Colts were on 7-1, and now they will play out the string on Sunday against the Houston Texans, and just trying to break a 6-game losing streak on the way out of Dodge. And there are so many questions, and we seem to say this every year, but Kevin Bowen, is this one of the biggest off seasons in the history of the Indianapolis Colts, or are we just saying that every year now?
That's actually a good question.
Yeah, I do feel like we say it annually. I don't think I can call it that when you don't have a first-round pick. Like when you had the 4th overall pick, I mean, that was a monumental decision to potentially shaping or reshaping your franchise. Obviously, it didn't work out. So, yeah, I mean, it could very well be, obviously, if you change leadership. But, you know, from a roster-building standpoint, the fact that you won't draft until, 49 overall is a little different.
Yeah, let's ask our next guest. Stephen Holder covers the Colts and has done so for quite some time. He works at ESPN.com, and he joins us on the Payless Liquors hotline right now. Good morning, Stephen. I'll ask you the same question we were just talking about. Are the Colts about to face their biggest offseason in a long, long time, or do we just say that every year now?
It does feel like we say that a lot. I will admit that is true. Every season is, or every offseason feels like a pivotal offseason, a big offseason. I don't know that this is necessarily the case this year, unless there are changes. I think that is maybe what is influencing that phrasing. And that's probably what's happening there, because people are interested in whatever decision gets made. And I think the other thing that goes hand in hand with that is that there is new leadership. So we're not entirely sure how the decision gets made, because different people are making the decision. So I think in that respect, it's a different offseason. I don't know if it's their biggest offseason or pivotal offseason, but it's a different offseason for sure.
So, Stephen, I know you have been in the battle online about how this could be a little more nuanced than fire everybody, bring everybody back. But in the case of Chris Ballard, the debate that we've had here on the show is, how much do you weigh this one season, 2025, versus the 9 seasons overall that have kind of led up to this point? So if you had to put it on a scale or give it a percentage, is it 80-20? Is it 70-30 versus the 9 years and the 1 year?
Well, it's a hard question. I think I would say this, and this is not entirely your question, but if you're the Colts, I realize that Jim Irsay is no longer with us, and he is the one who ultimately decided things last year. But just hear me out. If you're the Colts and you were satisfied, or at least willing to move forward with Chris Ballard last year, I don't know what changed this year that would make you say, I hate this guy. Because, in fact, as much as people don't want to acknowledge this was one of his best years. I will listen. People can boycott me. They can honk horns at me. They can do whatever the hell they want. It's true. He actually did everything that the fans had been asking him to do all along. He was more aggressive in free agency on defense, for sure. They got the quarterback largely right until he wasn't available anymore. And the Sauce Gardner trade, even though a lot of people have turned it around and made it as a negative against Chris Ballard, that's the kind of move people said he never made, right? So I'm not saying that's the reason to keep him. All I'm saying is if you as an organization were good with him last year, well, this was the new and improved Chris Ballard this year. So what changed, right? I think that's why I think if you're going to fire him, just say, look, we need a change of course, and we're going to do that. I don't think it can't be about this year for me. I mean, if you're firing somebody based on this year, then you're a ridiculous organization, and you don't know what the hell you're doing. That's how I feel.
Stephen Holder with us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. Good luck to your Hurricanes tonight, Stephen.
He don't mean that.
I appreciate that.
No, I actually do. I think Miami.
Hey, listen, it's almost a new year. It's almost a new year. So
I hate Ohio State. I hate Ohio State so much, and I actually think Miami can.
Welcome to the club.
So you got a Notre Dame guy rooting for your Hurricanes tonight. I just want to point that out.
I mean, it's Ohio State. Does anybody root for Ohio State casually?
No.
You definitely can't, right?
Listen. Ohio State brings people together for the wrong reason.
Amen.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Well said here to close out 2025. Stephen Holder with us, ESPN. Stephen, did I hear you correct earlier in the week? You are, and again, let's just, I guess, assume everybody's brought back. You're a little skeptical about Alec Pierce returning being a slam dunk?
Well, just because there's not been momentum on that. And, I mean, it's no secret that they have this reality that they are facing coming down the pike, and there's been let's just put it this way, there have been many conversations between Alec Pierce's representation and the Colts, and there's not been, that I'm aware of, there has not been any indication that so far that there is a likelihood of this getting done. And the reason I say that is because the Colts acknowledge that there is going to be a very robust market for Alec Pierce. That conversation has already happened. Like, hey, this guy's going to make a lot of money, and we don't know if we are in position to do that at wide receiver this coming year. Now, let me be clear. This is kind of the Chris Ballard approach. He never gives you a good offer early. Okay, so let's just be clear about that. I'm not surprised by that, and it wouldn't stun me if, again, we're talking hypothetically, if they're brought back. It wouldn't surprise me if Chris Ballard is in charge, they change course and at the last minute find a way to get it done, because he has done that before, right? But
couldn't they just franchise tag him?
You could. That is true. I don't know what that number is. It would probably be.
I think it's about 26 million, Holder.
I was going to say upper 20s for sure.
That's a big number, but you know what? I think Pierce, as crazy it sounds to some people, I think Pierce is going to sniff a lot closer to 26 million than maybe people realize.
I think he turns into a clear-cut number one next year.
I have no doubt. I actually think he is their number one receiver. I don't care if that pisses somebody off.
No, that's spot on. He is. Yeah.
Just watch him. And here's the thing. There's the rumor mill is already churning out there. Like, teams are very interested. I'm just telling you, they're very interested. And I'm with you, KB. That number, whatever he gets in free agency, if he's a completely free agent, I think it's going to stun some people. I really do, because I think there's going to be competition for him, and that will drive the number up. So, anyway, I'll shut up now. But I do think that the Colts are afraid of what that number is going to be and whether they are in position to match it.
Stephen Holder, ESPN.com, covers the Colts, joining us on the Payless Liquors hotline this morning. On Sunday, the Colts take on the Texans. Riley Leonard will be the starting quarterback. What's the realistic ceiling for what his day looks like?
Oh boy, I like Riley Leonard, even though he went to Notre Dame. No, listen, I think this is a tough assignment. I mean, you could not put a rookie quarterback in a tougher spot, I don't think, Look, it's going to be good for him, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like, taking your medicine when you're a kid, right? Who wants to take that gross cough medicine, but the alternative is, keep coughing all night. So you got to do it. But, man, you wish there was a better way, It's like, where are the Jets or the Titans when you need them, So it's going to be tough. I don't know what to expect other than a really ugly performance. I don't think this is going to be his best work.
I think the ceiling or I think success, let's put it this way. Success would be to have some big plays and to limit like the big colossal mistakes. That's really it. If he does that, then I think he was successful.
Well, there you have it from Stephen Holder, the ringing endorsement of Riley Leonard.
You considered what to say before you said that to him.
I was trying to find a way to,
Him.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
It's not about him. It's what he's facing, man. Like, I mean,
you scored 16 points with Daniel Jones quarterbacking against this defense, right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Go ask Justin Herbert.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they made him look mortal at times. I mean, although he had great moments in that game. But all I'm saying is, like, that we're seeing a Super Bowl caliber defense right now in Houston. I don't know if people are fully recognizing that. I see a Super Bowl caliber defense. I don't know if offensively they have enough. Probably not. But certainly the AFC is wide open. So with that defense, it's a game changer, right? It is a game changer. If there was ever a team that could go further than you expect because of one side of the ball, it's that team. You know, I don't think their offense can get them there, but that defense could. Who knows? And I know that sounds crazy. I don't believe it, but I'm not ruling it out. So that's what he's facing.
I just expect Riley Leonard to have this audio of Holder playing in his ears before he takes the field this upcoming Sunday, along with little DMX, you know, and so we'll see if we get some bulletin board material after the game. You know, I'm instigating.
Hey, I'm happy to do my part. Okay.
Hey, you know James over here. Yeah, 70%, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. That's what Riley Leonard's going to do on Sunday.
And I'm sure James won't even mention it next week if that does happen.
Right.
No, you know I'll play both sides, baby.
That's how that works. Who's the best team in the AFC?
Man,
good question.
That is so hard. I think I would say I want to say Denver, but I don't know if I believe that. You know, I think you know the
I watch them every week, and I don't believe that.
Right. I don't know that I do. I mean, I think they're the most complete team, though. You know, I do think they're the most complete team. I think New England, while on paper they look really good, even though I have downplayed the arguments about the Colts' early season easy schedule, I think that argument's actually somewhat valid with New England because, I mean, how many teams have they beaten with a winning record? I think it's 2. I mean, I wasn't saying that the Colts are some Super Bowl team because they beat bad teams. All I'm saying is, like, let's not diminish it completely. But here we're trying to assess whether this is a Super Bowl caliber team, and I don't know that we know that with New England. You know, Well, different conversation.
Do we still think that Josh Allen can pick a team up and carry him?
I don't know. He hasn't been able to so far, right? But I mean, they have won 11 games, so I keep going back to that. It's I watch them and I'm like, I hate this team. You know, every time I watch the Bills, I'm like, they are not a good football team. But then I look at it and say, well, they won 11 games somehow, and they still have the best quarterback who is going to be still alive, I think, you know, in the playoffs. I mean, I think we would agree, like, if you take we'll see if Lamar was at 100% and gets in, that'd be a different conversation, but he's not and hasn't played well. Of the quarterbacks that are going to be in the playoffs, the guy you're scared of is Josh Allen. So I think that matters a lot in this conversation. So they are the biggest wild card in the playoffs for me, I think, without a question. So maybe it's them.
I just want to point out to everybody in the room, it's interesting that none of us thought to say Jacksonville, who's just on fire right now.
That's a good point.
You know, I mentioned the most complete team with Denver. The other alternative for that answer is Jacksonville. Because what they're doing offensively is really impressive. You know, I think their defense, early in the season, we were giving them, you know, we were kind of skeptical about them because it was like, well, they got a bunch of turnovers. That's not sustainable. Well, they have kind of sustained it, to be completely honest. Their defense is really solid. And offensively, they got something going here. Like, this is this is now, 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row that we've seen them play really good on offense. And maybe this is what they are right now. I know we're going to be reluctant to truly, truly buy into Trevor Lawrence. I understand it. I'm like everybody else. But at some point, it's not just, a good 2 or 3 week stretch. At some point, this is what they are. So I don't know if we're there yet, but we'll see. I want to see it in January, but I like what they're doing. They look really good, and that's not a team I want to play right now.
Always good to talk to you, Stephen. Enjoy your New Year's Eve, whatever that entails, and have fun watching football tomorrow.
All right. I'll see you guys in 2026.
Sounds good. See you next year.
Oh,
how many times are we going to say that over the next couple of days?
Both of you all cornballs.
Say that is the oldest you've ever sounded in the history of this show, Jeff, I'm afraid.
Oh, that's saying something right there.
Again, his Hurricanes tonight, Miami and Ohio State. I don't know if it's the biggest ringing endorsement. I get where Steven was coming from, but for it to say this is one of the best Chris Ballard years ever.
Boy, I was thinking I would like to have listeners at this time of the show because I can only imagine
I'll
those
take the
who
other
were
side.
like, the hell with that.
Just for conversation's sake, I'll take the other side. We were all in on him going all in on Sauce Gardner when they were playing well and Daniel Jones was healthy and Jonathan Taylor was running all over the rest of the world, right?
Yeah, and to be fair, I do get what he's saying because he did change his stripes a bit. He did all the things that we asked him to do, but when your team loses 6 straight, possibly 7 straight, which would tie a franchise record for the most losses to end the season in a row, it's hard for me to sit up here and say that you did a good job. I think that's hard.
Well, and I think it's more of a reflection on the entire resume. I get where Steven is coming from. Does this season have maybe more positive moments than any other season he has had so far? Yeah.
Since 2020,
I
yes.
get, 2018 and 2020 would be the ones that you would obviously rank up there, if not put above it. But okay, so this is the 3rd best season. Let's call it that, just to play out the hypothetical.
Okay.
It's the 3rd best season of his 9. And the season accomplished what goal? What goal, of all the preseason goals, what goal did you cross off the list? You won a week 1 game.
Hang the banner.
Didn't make the playoffs. Didn't win the division. Didn't win a playoff game.
Didn't win in Jacksonville.
Didn't win in Jacksonville. Didn't win late season games. So
how much
that
do you
to
give
me
him?
is where it's more of I get where Steven's coming from, and yeah, you could make a case it is the 3rd best Ballard season, which to me is more of a damning reflection on the resume as a whole.
Okay, again, to play devil's advocate, just to bring the
I don't
other
like
side
playing
here.
with the devil. My mama told me not to do that.
That's what we do in sports.
Man.
It's what we do in sports. Literally 4 of his 5 best players were hurt. Almost boom, 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 boom.
Okay.
DeForest Buckner first. Daniel Jones. Sauce Gardner. We've had
Javarius Ward.
Javarius Ward, Mooney with all the concussions there, the big acquisitions that you did make. I mean, who honestly, other than maybe Pierce and Pittman, who didn't get hurt, that were big time, your big water carrying players?
Taylor, Nelson,
Taylor,
Franklin.
Nelson.
There are obviously a lot of players that also stayed really healthy. Again,
I don't think that's the ultimate excuse, but I do think you have to factor that in.
Sure,
Right?
I mean there is definitely some context with it. James, we did the little pie yesterday about how much of it was, and Steven mentioned the first half of the schedule versus the second half. You brought up kind of this team's DNA. Is this just kind of in them to lose these late season games? I think that's relevant as well. So, yes, injuries, I'm not sweeping injuries and throwing them out the second floor window here. It is a part of the context to this season. Do I think it is an excuse good enough to earn a 10th year? I do not.
2 things. One, I love the windows reference because we finally have them here in the studio. So I can see outside. I can see the sun come up. It's great. And then
where's the sun? I'm looking for it.
Look, it's a little brighter out there. I'll put it like
gray.
that than when I drove in. But secondly, and more importantly, I go back to the point that you made, Kevin, a lot of our listeners have made. If you had other things on your resume, it would be easier to swallow this season.
Yeah, San Francisco is the reference that you brought up yesterday, I think, James.
Yeah.
Obviously, San Francisco this year had, I would argue, more injuries and obviously exceeded where you're at from a record standpoint. But San Francisco, if this season would have bottomed out for them like it did for the Colts, they have multiple Super Bowl appearances. They have multiple playoff wins, et cetera, et cetera.
Seems like John Lynch is always making the right move.
Whereas Chris Ballard's resume does not have that. And my question again becomes, when do we just kind of cross off the injury excuse? Like Daniel Jones's history is not finishing seasons. So if Daniel Jones and the Colts have the same season next year, do we use the injury excuse again? What happens if Jonathan Taylor has normal running back health? What if he misses a month and a half? Like, do we continue to use this card or not? And again, you're asking for big injuries to flip. I mean, we're talking torn Achilles for Daniel Jones. We're talking neck surgery for a 31-year-old DeForest Buckner. We're talking Mooney Ward already debating retirement before he suffered another concussion. To me, these are not snap your fingers and Jonathan Taylor just needs to rest from his ankle and he'll be fine. These are some big injuries.
Well, I would argue in that situation, it was the ankle and a big bag of money that helped heal him.
Sure.
All right. I'm going to reference a poll to your readers at 1075thefan.com and on social media, Kevin, that you took the same poll in 2024 as you did this past week in 2025. Compare those results about what we're talking about. We'll do that in a minute, but right now, Caleb, let's check it down.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
New Year's Eve. That means tomorrow is New Year's Day. It's the game and the day we've been waiting for. If you're a college football fan here in the state and you don't bleed Purdue colors, you're excited about tomorrow's game between Indiana and Alabama, the Rose Bowl. That one starts at 4 p.m. with a kick, 3 p.m. coverage right here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan with Don Fisher and the gang. And, of course, a chance to advance to the college football playoff semifinals on the line. An undefeated season so far for the Indiana Hoosiers, James.
Doesn't seem real, but it is indeed going to happen, and IU is heavily favored, and rightfully so.
You talk about, Kevin, that the spread, it's a touchdown favorite for Indiana over Alabama. And Kalen DeBoer, who's got some ties here at Indiana, a couple of coaches on his staff, also some ties to Indiana, and, of course, Curt Cignetti with ties to Alabama. He was part of the early national championship run with Nick Saban when he spent 4 seasons there.
Had to laugh at this SIG answer yesterday, asked by Chris Hagan about the Alabama brand, if you will, and in true Curt Cignetti fashion, he shared this.
You probably know more about the Mystique than they do. I mean, our guys just know what they see on tape.
Short, sweet, to the point from Curt Cignetti. Yeah, the brand of Alabama a little different than this product here, and I fully expect Indiana to win by 2 scores.
Do you believe that Curt Cignetti was able to get his team hungry and humble again after the win of the Big Ten championship game?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Is Cignetti on the damn podium inside of Lucas Oil Stadium? That was one of the first things he mentioned. He's just he's a different cat, dude. We debate this in the NFL more than college, the CEO versus the offensive play caller, if you will. Tell you what, Curt Cignetti defines football CEO.
Man, it's going to be a fun day tomorrow. Again, first game of the day will start at noon, and we've got actually later on tonight, it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got some playoff brackets coming your way this evening, at least one football game. And of all these, aside from Indiana, of these 4 quarterfinal games, which one are you looking forward to the most, James?
Probably the one tonight. Looking forward to Ohio State, Miami, just because of the history there between those programs. I believe Jeremiah Smith is Miami native, so there's been a lot of talk about had Miami been better when he was coming up through the high school ranks, would he have gone there? I think he actually said he would have. So just curious to see how that unfolds, and also they're trying to rebound from their first loss of the season, which was to IU in that Big Ten championship.
Yep, and of course tonight, 7:30, Miami, Ohio State. That will be the Cotton Bowl. Tomorrow at noon, Oregon, Texas Tech. That'll be the Orange Bowl, followed by the Rose Bowl with Alabama, Indiana, and the nightcap, which you'll also hear at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Georgia and Ole Miss. It's down to the big boys and the big programs.
I do have to laugh at that Ole Miss game. So you're telling me you've got 6 coaches on the Ole Miss sideline that are coaching LSU, and the transfer portal's opening up on Friday.
Welcome to 2025.
I didn't realize that until
I wasn't
read a
born
story
yesterday, folks, but oh boy, can you imagine what those conversations have been like?
So, I mean, I know we got to get to break, but like, can someone explain why that is even allowed when there was such a big uproar about the coach staying? I mean, is the assistants just okay with that? I mean, it's a weird situation.
Yeah, I think if you're the Ole Miss AD, it's a really difficult situation. You have your best football team in years. You obviously want them to try and pursue something here in the playoff. Yeah, you want some sort of continuity, but then the weird elephant in the room is LSU's NIL looks a little different than your NIL, and how many of these dudes are going to be wearing an LSU jersey next year?
I know, by the way, you're playing
or as early as Friday.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you guys threw a fit for Lane Kiffin trying to coach this team. It's like, all right, I'll just send my minions to do it and recruit for me.
All right.
Very weird.
College basketball last night. Creighton a winner over Butler, 89-85. Bulldogs dropped to 10-4. They play again Saturday against Villanova. Was a nice game for Michael Ajayi. He had 16 points and 13 rebounds. Johan Traore had 20 points to lead the way. NBA tonight, Pacers really this afternoon at home against the Orlando Magic. Our coverage starts at 3 p.m. here at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Kevin, trying to snap a 9-game losing streak this afternoon.
It's 2 checkdowns now. You've bypassed Notre Dame basketball. That will not sit well with me.
Did I do that? Did I do that again, James?
No, you need to bypass
Did I do that again?
That basketball, set the country back.
3.5-point underdog, the Pacers. So again, there have been many of these games this season where the opponent is also missing some notable players. Franz Wagner being the guy for the Magic in this one. We'll see about Jalen Suggs. I think he's been banged up as well. Shout out to Desmond Bain. We'll see how many people make the trek over I-70 to come and watch Desmond Bain. Now he's in the Eastern Conference, so he makes, I think, a couple appearances inside a Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
Richmond star?
Yeah, Seton Catholic out there. So again, health-wise, Ben Shepherd potentially could be back. I think McConnell's questionable. You're getting a little bit healthier, but damn, you need a win. Boy, I hate to use the word slump buster on New Year's Eve because that could lead to quite a few issues.
Do you have any suggestions?
The Pacers certainly need one, and we'll see if they can find it. The matinee game here at 3 o'clock this afternoon.
James, got any slump-busting suggestions?
Play some defense. I feel like they have not done that for a month.
All right.
I thought you were going to say wrap it up.
Colts at Texans on Sunday. The Colts have lost 6 straight games. Riley Leonard will get the
That's
start
another version of defense
at quarterback. Coming up in a moment, we'll talk more about
There's
Indiana.
a Phillip Rivers joke in there somewhere, and I'm just going to let it sit.
Rose Bowl tomorrow. We'll get to the text line for the first time today, 239-1070. You can also call us up if you've got something to say, 239-1070, same number. It's all next at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HAWK to 321-321 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HAWK to 321-321. That's HAWK to 321-321.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
If you or someone you know needs help putting food on the table, that help is closer than you think. The Fan cares. We've partnered with local food banks and organizations to provide resources for those who need them. Just go to 1075thefan.com and look for the banner that says Find Free Food Near You. You'll find a link to Community Compass with an up-to-date and interactive map that shows locations, days, and times for you to collect food at no cost, as well as other resources to help you through this challenging time. Find community help now at 1075thefan.com.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog. With a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent can help. We've been your one-stop solution for nasal congestion, snoring, and sleep apnea for over 20 years. Unlike many other practices, we focus exclusively on these conditions, so you get comprehensive care under one roof. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Plus, most insurance is accepted for our effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Advent. Sleep better. Sleep together. Learn how you can improve your life at adventknows.com.
Hi,
Hi, my name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar in March of 27 and seen Mark. My best friend came with me. We both went to it, and neither one of us smoked a cigarette in almost 7.5 months. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend and them went. None of them have smoked a cigarette, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar, the Stop Smoking, and it worked. A friend of mine also went, and he still no longer smokes, and it was just amazing.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed. Only $59.99. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all, or your money back. Stop the cravings and stop smoking for good. Stop Smoking Hypnosis begins at 8 p.m. on Thursday, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville, or at 2 p.m. on Saturday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Registration 30 minutes before. Sign up today at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
So you need last-minute gifts. No judgment. Get an extra 25% off during Kohl's Friends and Family Sale and find great gifts under $20. Like something cozy, something thoughtful, something that says you planned this all along. Yep, you're just one quick trip away from checking off the last gifts on your list. Save now at KohlsandKohls.com. Select styles. Offer ends December 24th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohls.com for details.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us?
Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
If it's happening with the Indianapolis Colts,
They give it to Taylor.
then it's happening on the Fan.
Jacksonville has the lead for the first time. The first touchdown of the season for Mo Alley Cox, and he made it with one hand. Colts back on top into the end zone, and it is intercepted by Jacksonville. Antonio Johnson ends the game, and the Colts losing skid now 6 games.
Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
The official home of the Indy Sports Fan.
Let's get it to him, baby girl. Hey. That's right.
You're listening to The Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5, The Fan.
I want to get a shout out to Caleb. Zuber, you've done a fantastic job filling in for the ever vacationing Mark Dykton, who I think is supposed to be back on Monday. Is he not?
That is correct. My run behind the board ends on Friday. Hopefully recapping an Indiana win.
Great New Year's Eve anthem right here, Caleb Zuber. Thank you very much for a little Live Your Life.
I'll try to keep it going. I know you like Kesha. I found that out last month. You know, that was a whole thing on this show. So
Rihanna and T.I. I can get behind as well.
We all can, right?
Yeah.
You're young and single. What's your New Year's Eve look like tonight?
How'd you know I was single?
I don't know. Are you?
I am.
Well, you're not married. I just know you're not wearing.
Like, how did you?
You're not wearing a wedding ring.
What is it about
from
me
the top rope
that makes me look like I'm single?
Hey,
you
You're
just
not
know,
wearing.
huh? Okay.
You're not wearing a wedding ring for one thing.
You're real. Oh, so you're not like, you know, it's
You
either
gotta wear a wedding ring to be single?
Man, oh man.
24, man.
Boy,
Take it
coming in
easy.
here, Bill's Mafia jumping on a table style right
The
here.
question
Caleb
is,
Zuber.
you have a big New Year's Eve lined up.
Well, being from Ohio, I feel like I should be watching the game tonight. So that's what it's going to be. I'm not really sure what the plan is for me doing it, but.
So you were not enjoying our little Ohio State.
No, and I wasn't going to chip in because, I don't know, just wanted to keep it in quiet. But yeah, I am an Ohio State football fan. I'm not a lunatic, but I do.
They all say that.
They do, and I can understand why people get frustrated with Ohio State fans. But I'm looking forward to tonight. It should be fun.
What about you, James?
I have no idea what my life looks like after this show. I mean, I know I got to go to practice. I got to finish up a story. Pretty normal. Honestly, I'm not a big go out party person anyways, but I'll definitely be locking into the game tonight and then trying to check in with the family and all of that. So that's about it for my world.
All right. Let's check the text line 239-1070 on this New Year's Eve.
I'll be getting hitched too, Caleb, by the way.
Oh,
so, make
boy.
sure I lock it down and become, because the only way you're single in Jeff's life is if you don't have a ring on that finger. So.
I also, through previous conversations, I may have deducted that as well.
Oh, okay. So people are talking about me behind my back.
No,
Good
you
to
and I
know.
have just had conversations in the past.
Yo, you're digging yourself a grave, Jeff. You got to get out, brother.
Why didn't you ask me about my New Year's Eve plans? Maybe
Because
I
they're
bought
probably a lot like mine.
Maybe I bought the all-in-one pass to go to the Red Room. Climb up those steps tonight. And
we're hanging out with the kids tonight.
Champagne toast at midnight.
Yeah.
Maddie, you got the kids. I'll be out and about.
Good luck with that. See how that goes on Friday when you get back. Right? 239-1070 in the text line. Ricky checking in. Ballard should have been fired years ago, but this roster's not that bad. Equal or lesser rosters have won divisions, playoff games, etc. What metric or data suggests Steichens is a good head coach? He's soon to be 2-10 against Houston, Jacksonville. I believe he's 3-14 against teams over 500 in the last 2.5 seasons. He consistently mismanages late game situations. The lack of quarterback consistency, didn't he sign off on AR? He can't scheme around any quarterback but Rivers, while his counterparts do so on a regular basis. Traits of a good offensive coordinator? Maybe. He is the head coach and not a good one. A lot to say from Ricky right there, James.
Yeah, that's a lot to break down. I will say, I think that Shane has done a decent job given the quarterback situations that he's had. Now, yes, I will co-sign he was on board with Anthony Richardson being drafted here. I don't want to gloss over that. I know some fans or even some media members are saying, oh, that was a Jim Irsay decision. Not necessarily, not fully. The reason why Shane was even brought in to begin with was because they knew they were going to draft a quarterback young and they were going to have to develop him. And the idea was Shane can help develop AR. And they were all on board with this. So this is not something that was just done by the late Jim Irsay. However, when you look at what he did with Gardner Minshew, Joe Flacco, and obviously this year, given the fact that you go from Daniel Jones to Phillip Rivers to now Riley Leonard, I don't know if I want to say he isn't necessarily a good play call or offensive mind. It's just all the other stuff that goes around with it. The leader of men aspect of it. Can your team not fold under pressure? Can you win games you're not supposed to? I think that's always a measure that you've kind of brought up, Kevin, of even when Frank Reich got fired, there was always a couple of games every year where you looked at Frank Reich and said, okay, that was a game you weren't supposed to win on paper or in Vegas, but you got it done.
Yeah, I've always found him as a head coach to be very mid, Kevin. I don't think he's the worst head coach in the NFL.
Mid.
I certainly don't think he's the
Using
best
some
head
Gen
coach.
Z lingo here on these airwaves.
I do sounding like the oldest dude in the world with Stephen Holder and saying, see you next year, to sounding like the hippest dude in all of Carmel.
I steal that from my senior in high school who uses that phrase constantly.
Look at that.
But yeah, I find Shane Steichen as a head coach to be very average.
Well, he's 25-25.
But there's nothing. Very rarely do I watch a game where I just go, I see a few play calls sometimes, like, oh, that was really cool. And then I see some, to the point a moment ago by Ricky, like mismanagement of game situations I see quite a bit sometimes. He's not the best. He's not the worst. What do you do with a guy?
I think one of the things I struggle with Steichen in the evaluation is how much blame does he deserve for the defense? None? Some?
He's a head coach. At some point it comes to your desk, doesn't it?
Do you blame personnel?
Yeah, because who are your edge rushers ever?
So again, personnel would not fall necessarily on him. That would fall a little bit more Ballard related. So I think
don't they do that as a team though, kind of?
I look at 9 years of roster building for Ballard, and I think that supersedes 3 years here of Steichen. Again, when we individually evaluate him, I don't hold my feet to the fire to these grades, but I think, James, we talked about this. If you individually evaluate each coach so far, I would or each person, Ballard and Steichen, I'd give Ballard about a D-. I give Steichen about a C-. If you just want to slot letter grades onto it. The most damning, I think, is the 2-9 against Houston and Jacksonville. We'll see, obviously, what Sunday brings. Offensively, I think he's done a fine job. I think the over-criticism quarterback, Richardson, James, you laid it out pretty well. But again, what they're able to do with Minshew, what they're able to do with Daniel Jones, of course, that's really attractive. And how you look at him, though, as a head coach, I think there's so much responsibility on the offensive side of the ball when you're the play caller. And given the Colts quarterback situation, I would argue they have even more of it. Like, Sean McVay doesn't have to babysit Matthew Stafford all week long. Kyle Shanahan probably doesn't have to babysit Brock Purdy all week long. Andy Reid with Mahomes, et cetera, et cetera. The Colts quarterback situation, Steichen's had to babysit it. And so I think so much attention has to be given to that position and that offensive room that I think sometimes you just lose sight of the pulse of the entire team. Again, some of the defensive changes that maybe needed to happen. Maybe you're demanding more from Gus Bradley last year, for example, in needing some changes schematically, even though that goes against kind of Gus's MO there. So, these are all things where, Carly Gordon's going to have to look at it. And I think I said it earlier in the week, I'd probably fire Ballard and let the new GM evaluate Steichen from there. The arranged marriages rarely work in the NFL, but I think Steichen has at least earned the right to get to that point in the evaluation process.
Okay. We'll switch up and talk Indiana here. Zionsville Chris sent us a video that I was checking out a few moments ago that says Indiana historically is terrific analytically. And this YouTube video points out that the data is unequivocal. Indiana's historically great team. Before breaking down the matchup, it's crucial to understand what the computer models are saying. The undefeated Hoosiers aren't just the number one team. They rank among the best teams of the entire college football playoff era. ESPN overall team efficiency rates them at 94.3. That's the third best since 2020, behind only 20 Alabama and 21 Georgia. The ESPN Football Power Index gave them a 28.9. That's the highest since Georgia in 2022. Higher than Michigan was in 2023. Strength of record, number one, reflects the chance of overage top 25 team, or how an average top 25 team would have fared against that schedule. So historically, some of the numbers, you break down deep analytics, say that Indiana is an incredible football team, James.
I'll take the data for what it's worth, but I'm just ready for the game at this point. I didn't discredit them all season. I'll take that back. I discredited them before they played my Illini, and then when they curb stomped them, I didn't discredit them anymore the rest of the way. So, yeah, I think now it's all about, okay, you're past all of the feel-good story part of it and the underdog part of it. Now you're top dog. And can you kind of finish off what has been truly one of the most remarkable turnarounds we've seen ever in the history of sports, whether it's college football or otherwise. And I get, even if they don't win a national championship, I still would consider it a crazy turnaround and one of the best we've ever seen. But that is what you're reaching for now. And it's not necessarily, again, last year, if you had won a playoff game, we kind of would have been like, oh man, like you really got it done. You upset somebody. Now other teams looking to upset you, which is such a unique situation for IU to be in. But hats off to Cignetti and Fernando Mendoza for changing that program.
Yeah, and I think when we were talking about analytics earlier, we were doing it specifically in the context of Fernando Mendoza, who doesn't have, some of the prototypical huge numbers that prior Heisman Trophy winners have had in terms of, incredible number of touchdowns thrown and yards thrown for and things like that. But pointing out again, nobody in college football met bigger moments more consistently and with greater success than Fernando Mendoza did this year. That's why he won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, I mean, again, the two most consistent aspects of this Indiana football team, I'll continue to say it, they run it well and they stop it well. And they do that better than arguably anybody in college football, and that's why I think they'll win by a couple scores coming up tomorrow.
It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about. We'll talk more about it and take some more of your feedback at 239-1070 coming up in a moment. Rick Carlisle stops by in just under an hour from now at 9:30. Stay tuned for that. It's the Fan Morning Show on a New Year's Eve, 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Welcome to Wawa. We're open 24/7, so when the sun goes down but everyone's still up, Wawa has your late night fuel. Headed to a hangout? Stop in for snacks and sodas. Binge your favorite shows with burgers and hoagies. Gather around the table with garlic knots and a cheesy Wawa pizza. Or just chill on the couch with fries and whatever milkshake sounds good. Your night just got a whole lot tastier. Freshly made burgers, pizza, and so much more. When you got a late night craving, you got a Wawa. Price and participation may vary by store.
The Butler basketball season is rolling along. Don't miss your chance to get in on the action. Your next chance to get to Hinkle Fieldhouse to cheer on your Butler Bulldogs is Saturday, January 3rd at noon when the Dogs take on the Villanova Wildcats. Come see the sunlight shine through the windows at iconic Hinkle Fieldhouse. With most students home for break, there are some great unique seating options available, so buy your tickets now at butlersports.com/buy tickets. Be a part of Hinkle Magic and make Hinkle your second home this season. Get ready to hoop. It's back. Time to try your skills around Indy locations with Michelob Ultra's Mini Hoops Challenge. Michelob Ultra Mini Hoops Challenge gives you a chance to win a Michelob Ultra basketball jersey and punch your ticket to the Mini Hoops Finals, where a trip to see Indiana versus Milwaukee in Milwaukee on February 6th is on the line, complete with a hotel gift card and $100 Visa gift card. Visit 1075thefan.com today to see all the locations and details.
Bowling, 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 keep them balls a-rolling. Bowling, 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 Royal Pin.
Ring in the new year at Royal Pin Entertainment's annual New Year's Eve celebration. Countdown to 2026 with a celebration the whole family will love. Get to Royal Pin from 9 p.m. to midnight on December 31st for 3 hours of fun and family-friendly excitement, including cosmic bowling, a complimentary appetizer board, a midnight toast, and a whole lot more. Each lane fits up to 6 guests. There's plenty of celebration to go around. So bring your friends, bring your family, and roll into 2026 with a bang. Spots fill up fast. Reserve your lane now at royalpin.com.
Set 'em up, knock 'em down, send 'em flying, spinning round.
Royal Pin Entertainment, where fun rolls into the new year.
Royal Pin. Bowling, bowling. Royal Pin.
If you're feeling off your game, low T could be the cause. Your local Game Day Men's Health can help. Our licensed medical team offers fast in-house testing with results on your first visit. We're leaders in testosterone therapy, erectile dysfunction, and peptide therapies, and we'll build a personalized plan to help you get back in the game. Start today at GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Search online for your nearest Game Day Men's Health location to schedule an appointment, where every day is game day.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
With Wawa's Rewards program, you can rack up points on the items you buy every day, even fuel. Boost your totals with a breakfast sizzling. Score points with your morning coffee. With Wawa Rewards, points put the power in your hands. You can choose to redeem them for what you love most, like an iced latte for an extra pick-me-up or your lunchtime hoagie. Download the Wawa app today. When you gotta get rewarded, you gotta Wawa.
Fuel rewards not available in New Jersey or were legally prohibited. See full details at wawarewards.com. Price and participation may vary by store.
On the golf tee, it's Skechers World Champions Cup. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. It's PGA Champions Tour golfers from all over the world. Team USA versus Team Europe versus Team International. Watch it live December 4th and 5th on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 12 to 4 p.m. The competition will be tense, but feet will be comfy. Tune in to Skechers World Champions Cup. Final round of golf on Sunday, December 7th on ABC, 1 to 5 p.m.
Looking for something to do on New Year's Eve? Nemhard has it. Drives to the dotted half. Up top to Huff, and Huff delivers a catch-and-shoot three.
Start your New Year celebration as the Pacers host the Orlando Magic in an afternoon game Wednesday at 3. It's a celebration for the whole family.
4 seconds to shoot. 3 seconds to shoot. Nemhard way out on the left edge. Beat the clock and hit a three.
Get your tickets at Pacers.com/tickets.
Jackson lays it in and draws a foul.
Pacers Magic, Wednesday at 3.
The top-ranked Hoosiers face the Crimson Tide of Alabama in the Rose Bowl. New Year's Day at 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Shawty's like a melody in my head that I can't keep out. Got me singing like na 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 every day's like my iPod stuck on replay.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
I thought you'd be up and moving on that one, JB.
Hey, man, you can't be you got to let things happen naturally, organically, Jeff, okay?
I just thought I expected that one would get you up and going right there. That's all.
That one's for our listeners who keep reporting that our stream is repeating So, hey, we're working on it. We are.
That's what's going to drive me to retirement and make me an old man. Kevin,
It's going better. It's going better, though. It has. Like, it used to be like 5 minutes into the show. Now it's about like an hour and a half. So we're making progress there.
I will say
but surely.
this. I listened all day in the car for 2 days in a row and didn't seem to have major problems. There's a couple of
there you go.
audio file problems that I had, but other than that.
Ayaz, right, on the little replay action.
Hey,
Caleb
we could do
Zuber.
this the rest of the show, man.
I feel like I am celebrating New Year's here at 8:49 in the morning. Apologies. I know it's super frustrating for listeners out there, so hopefully we'll get things figured out as quick as possible. I know it's been a big issue here over the last couple of weeks.
I think the frustrating thing is it's out of a lot of our control.
Yeah.
Like it's
for sure, but that's obviously
no, it doesn't help anybody.
Doesn't matter to any of our listeners out there that are trying to be as loyal as possible. So apologies there, and hopefully the new year will bring smoothness there.
I hope so too. I know you guys talked about this a little bit yesterday. I didn't have a chance to participate, but you ran an interesting comparison of a poll that you ran at the end of the year in 2024 for the Colts and who should be retained and what people wanted, as opposed to where we're at in 2025. What was your big takeaway from that?
Yeah, I mean, the results, I guess, percentage-wise weren't that different. Basically, there were 4 choices. What do you want, Colts fans? No changes. You fire both. You fire just Ballard. You fire just Steichen. The no changes, I guess, has actually grown 5% to 9%. I mean, not overwhelming, but has grown. The fire both of them has dropped from 42% last year to 31%. The firing of just Ballard has increased 52 to 59, firing just Steichen 1% each of those years. So
to be clear, 6 out of 10 respondents to that poll want Chris Ballard gone.
Yeah, and I think right around 4,000 people chimed in on it. So, yeah, obviously last year you had, 90-some% if you add it up, wanted some change, and you got none of it. This year, that number is, once again, right around 90%, and we will await Sunday or Monday to find out exactly if there will be any changes. James, I know a lot of people brought up the Carly Gordon quote. We touched a little bit on the Jordan Rodriguez feature from The Athletic, big, long feature on Carly Gordon in The Athletic. And one of the juicier quotes I think people were asking about yesterday was, and I'm paraphrasing here, if you have the quote in front of you, go ahead and read it.
I can pull it up.
Basically something to the effect of, change can be healthy. Change can be good. People are scared of change.
I'm going to read it for you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Here is Carly Gordon. This was a few days before the Week 14 loss in Jacksonville where Daniel tore his Achilles. So just some context there. Most people don't like change. I think there's something wrong with me, but I feel like it is one thing that is a guarantee. I think it can be exciting. Not much to feel excited about, I will say, going into this offseason, but
I know that got fans on the we need to make change boat excited. Do you read that quote and feel that way for those people?
I think what she's saying is change doesn't scare me.
I didn't read it like that necessarily, Jeff. Well, I'll say it like this. I see it through 2 lenses. One, yes, change probably doesn't scare her, but it's easier to say that when your team at that point in time wasn't unraveling like it is now. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if you could ask her right now today about change, what would the answer be? Because it seems much more likely than it did back in Week 14. Week 14, Achilles is still intact. You win that game in Jacksonville, you're probably going to the playoffs. You lose, quarterback goes down, go on a skid, Sauce gets hurt, DeForest gets hurt, like everything changes. So now, how do you feel about making bigger changes because of that? That's where I'm at with it. But I do think there isn't a whole lot to reach back to in regard to Carly Ursay-Gordon, whatever she says. So I think, and I've done it myself as a media member, we're all going to cling to whatever she says so tightly because we don't have much of it to go off of.
We played the injury clip earlier in the week of what she said back in the spring here. So, Jeff, to your point, I would agree wholeheartedly there. I don't think she is afraid of change or, necessarily whatever that scares her. We've talked about this endlessly, but I think when you are people in positions of authority like that, I think some of the most difficult decisions you can make is admitting that your operation is not going according to plan, and i.e. that means the previous decisions that you or maybe her father in this case made, we need to say that those were wrong. I felt like there was some, and I could be wrong, but I felt like there was some emotional pull from Jim Irsay over the years that he was so publicly bullish on Chris Ballard, the greatest hire of the 21st century from a GM standpoint, that he wanted to be right. I could be wrong on that. Those are just my thoughts. Will Carly have those same thoughts? She was a part of the process, but she wasn't her father in that process. Because I think there was a takeaway, James, you had from the piece as well, that her and Chris Ballard are very close.
Yeah.
So again, how much of that is at play here?
And how much of it do you say to yourself, honestly, when you look at everything you say to yourself, hey, look, before all this spate of injuries, we were 7-1 and going all in by trading 2 first-round draft picks. That's how confident we were that we could get something done now.
Yeah.
And if you say to yourself, all right, if we kind of rerun it with everybody healthy after the first month of the season, we can get through that next year. Do we start back up with the team that was 7-1 again?
Well, I think for her specific point of view, if she indeed, green-lighted that trade, does she feel like she's going back on her word 2 months later by making substantial changes? Does that bother her? Does it not? Some people would say from a human element, it might bother you, but from a business element, who cares? If you're wrong, you got to admit it as early as possible and start moving on from it. That's probably the one Carly Ursay-Gordon element that I think is a little, if I were, some diehard Colts fan, season ticket member, that would worry me. The fact that you got 2 months into the job and you thought that Daniel Jones and Chris Ballard were that secure.
Yeah.
That's a really premature thought, especially when Daniel Jones's back of the baseball card looks like it does, especially when the back of Chris Ballard's baseball card looks like it does. I get that the trades for Sauce Gardner do not grow on trees. They don't happen 365 days out of the year, but that was quite the message to send to the pillars of your organization. It was much more about just giving up 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell for Sauce Gardner.
Yep. All right, we'll talk more about that. Take your feedback, 239-1070. Coming up in a moment, take a look at the top 3 moments of Indiana sports in 2025. Rick Carlisle comes your way at 9:30. It's New Year's Eve, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Query and Company.
Shane Steichen said it.
Thought our guys played hard today and fought like crazy.
You know what's crazy? Expecting different results from doing the same thing over and over. I have nothing against Chris Ballard personally, but he's had plenty of time, plenty of it. And now here we are once again sitting there on the sidelines watching the playoffs. Bottom line for the Indianapolis Colts. Got to start looking for different results and doing it under different guidance.
Query and Company, weekdays noon to 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Hey there, Jake Query for Surfside. Look for the can with the sunset stripes. This time of year, in particular, when you're needing sunshine, no problem. Sunshine in the can is Surfside. I'm talking about iced tea and vodka, lemonade and vodka. New flavors coming for the new year, but for now, the raspberry tea, the green tea, and the lemonade itself with that little splash of vodka is so awesome. And with no carbonation, oh so smooth, so easy to drink, and just 100 calories and 2 grams of sugar. Surfside, look for it wherever you buy your favorite adult beverage, and please be 21 and drink responsibly.
The Fan cares, and if you or someone you care about needs food assistance, we have resources for you, including food distribution locations with an interactive map. Also, learn how you can make a difference for friends and neighbors in need, all at 1075thefan.com.
Hey everyone, it's Jake from Payless Liquors. Charlie said sell it, so stop by one of our 26 family-owned locations and stock up with these great deals. Jack Daniel's half gallons for $39.99, Captain Morgan half gallons for $24.99, Mich Ultra 18 packs for $23.99, and La Marca Prosecco for $15.99. Get Corbel Brut for just $11.99, Martini and Rossi for just $10.99, Stella Rosa 6-packs for $4.99, and Jim Beam and Cola 4-packs for just $2.99. Why pay more when you can pay less here at Payless Liquors?
1075 The Fan and Franciscan Health present Good for the Heart Fridays. Listen to Jake Query every Friday to hear a heartwarming story from our local community. Jake knows firsthand the importance of heart health. Jake and The Fan have teamed up with Franciscan Health to make a difference, one beat at a time. Good for the Heart Fridays, brought to you by Franciscan Health Heart Center. Learn proactive measures to keep your heart healthy and schedule your heart scan at franciscanhealth.org/screening bundles.
Are you hungry, Indy? Cluster Truck, Indiana's go-to pickup and delivery kitchen, crushes all cravings. Pizza, tacos, salads. If you're craving it, it's probably on the menu. Order now at clustertruck.com and use code BIGFAN, all one word, for $5 off, $25 or more.
Lose weight or stop smoking with hypnosis, guaranteed, or your money back. Only $59.99. Destroy unwanted cravings, late-night eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, or weight gain, or your money back. Hypnosis, January 29th at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites in Noblesville. Weight loss at 5:30 p.m., stop smoking at 8. And January 31st at the Holiday Inn Indianapolis Airport. Weight loss 11 a.m., stop smoking at 2. Register at markpatrickseminars.com.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
From the DriveHubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WIBC HD2, HD3, Indianapolis. The top-ranked Hoosiers face the Crimson Tide of Alabama in the Rose Bowl. New Year's Day at 3 on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It's going down. You're listening to The Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
You ask Kevin, you get, and there's James dancing now. We're all good, Caleb. Good job out of you. Making everybody happy over here.
Can we wait for the beat to drop at this song? Could I just, you guys talk over this as it comes on here? This is a New Year's Eve song, Kevin.
All right, go.
Oh, man. KB, you got to be thinking about some memories right there, right? From college
I'm
or
hearing
something?
the Rock Lobster siren. Neon lights flashing.
Yeah, man. You said you went back to Indiana on New Year's Eve when they played Ohio State in basketball, right?
Yeah, that was a big upset. That was a top 5 upset for Tom Crean. William Buford is who I'm imagining for Ohio State.
My high school played William Buford's
that dude
high
could
school.
get some
He
buckets.
was a great player.
Smooth. I loved watching William Buford play. Yeah, I don't know if Solinger was still there, but that was a big win. Boy, I'm tasting the grape Kharkov right now, Caleb. Thank you, brother, for that.
The Bowen household going to be partying tonight right up until midnight. Probably past it.
Nellie's first rave coming at midnight,
right?
You're gonna get the glow sticks out and everything like that.
Anything to make her fall asleep.
It's the Fan Morning Show. It's New Year's Eve, 2025. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Last day of the year, and we've been counting down the top 10 Indiana sports stories of the year. We are down to the top 3, Kevin Bowen. Correct?
Yeah, down to the top 3.
All right. A little production with that. What do you want to do there, Caleb?
Number 3.
All right, I'll let you start, James Boyd. We'll go from your side of the table
number
back over to
3
Kevin.
for your boy. I'm going to go with what we just saw the last time IU took the field. They beat Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship. That cannot be understated in our moments of the year. And honestly, we might be looking at a bigger moment for the 2026 list if they knock off Alabama and advance further in the college football playoffs. But yeah, just that moment. I remember watching that game down in Jacksonville on a big screen, and we were actually sitting next to me and Nathan Brown of Indy Star, great Colts reporter who's now on the beat. We were sitting next to a table of Ohio State fans, and they were actually pretty respectful. Like, man, we did not expect IU to kind of give us some go like this. And that, to me, was a big moment for that program. I know it really didn't mean anything like materially. You still get to the college football playoff, but to have that victory, boy, that was not something I had on the bingo card coming into 2025.
Yeah, talk about things not having put down on your bingo card. My number 3 moment, Fernando Mendoza getting the Heisman Trophy. To stand there in New York and for an Indiana quarterback to pick up the Heisman Trophy, that was my number 3 moment in 2025. And it was all about moments. It wasn't about overwhelming statistics with the most touchdown throws ever, the most yards ever, or the highest rating ever, although the rating was pretty high. But just the moments that he just delivered again and again and again. Every time it seemed like they needed something from Fernando Mendoza, he delivered all year long.
Yeah, my IU spots will be higher on my list. I will go and, again, this is part of, I guess, whatever, journalism or sports stories. Unfortunately, they all can't be great sports stories. Number 3 on the list, I had the passing of Jim Irsay. When you think about figures in this state, certainly from a sports standpoint, I don't know how much bigger they get than him. So, that passing that occurred, back in May, obviously philanthropically, you think about what he's done, NFL-wise. I always thought he just did a great job of, going to bat for Indy on a bigger market scale. And, certainly Peyton Manning was a huge, huge part of it. But I also think Jim Irsay's constant pressure of, telling the NFL, hey, we can host a Super Bowl was huge. And that 2012 Super Bowl, I don't know if it happens with just an ordinary owner, if you will. And I think Jim Irsay was certainly not ordinary. I had IU, then 1B, and I kind of grouped Big Ten and Mendoza together. Obviously, as James points out, 2026 list could look a whole lot different. But yeah, winning that game, the Mendoza story, that to me, I technically I got a 1B on my list there. So I got a little gap.
It's all
1A,
good.
1B
I had Irsay
there.
at number 4, so we're kind of all in the same ballpark right there. All right, then let's move on to the second largest story of
Number
the year,
2.
James.
So
Number 2.
This actually kind of goes with what Kevin just said, and shout out to Caleb on the sound there. My number 2 moment was the death of Jim Irsay, I believe the same night that Hallebertton hit the game-tying shot in Game 1 against the Knicks in the conference finals. So just the dichotomy of the emotions that the city was going through. I remember doing the show with you all the next day and trying to balance that, because on one hand, it's like you feel like you have this team of destiny after making that shot against that team in that moment. I mean, you got Tyrese Hallebertton doing the Reggie Miller choke sign with the guy sitting courtside calling the game versus obviously someone who, like you said, Kevin, was a big pillar in this city. And really when they brought the Colts here, it changed the landscape of the city. So the death and then the joy of the Tyrese Hallebertton shot all kind of within the same 24 hours that was my second biggest moment of 2025 in Indiana sports.
All big moments, no question about that. I went with Indiana beating Ohio State as the number 2 moment. We keep talking about this is the biggest moment in IU football history. Yes, the game was in some ways meaningless. It was about seeding for the college football playoff. But to finish off your regular season undefeated and then play the juggernaut that has always vexed you, the power in your conference, Ohio State.
Hadn't beat them in 30 years, right? Something like
and
that.
to beat them on a quote-unquote neutral field, the way your defense performed, the way, again, Mendoza stepped up in big moments at key times with Becker and the other wide receivers, that to me was the number 2 sports moment of the year because of just the century of gravity that it carried with it.
Yeah, the only other thing I'd add on IU, obviously, again, like I said, I had it 1B, would be they were on freaking 60 minutes. Like how many times have we seen, the state of Indiana have a sports story qualify for 60 minutes? Okay, well, I guess, Caleb, should we go number 1 since I already gave out my number 2, 1B, if you will?
Here we go.
Number 1.
The cinema of the Pacers run. All the Hallebertton game winners, just all of it. It's not, obviously, getting to the Game 7 is probably worthy of the number 1 spot enough, I think. And it's saying something because this list, to me, has got a lot of great stories or super unique stories or big stories, however you want to label it all. But getting to that moment and having the layup on Giannis, having the shot in Cleveland with the comeback, the Neesmith putback dunk, then doing it game 1 in Madison Square Garden where the ball seemingly hangs in the air forever, and then the NBA Finals, doing it against the Oklahoma City Thunder on the road, setting the tone for a real opportunity to upset, what is one of the best champions we've seen in the NBA. And unfortunately, I think when you talk about the Pacers story and the cinema of it, you have to include the tragedy of Game 7. All of it, I think, is qualifying of it. It's worthy of a movie. So for me, the Indiana story is great. And in most years, it would probably take the cake number 1. But the Pacers cinema getting to Game 7, all the shots, all the heroic moments, all the big comebacks, and obviously the Hallebertton tragedy as well. That is my number 1 2025 Indiana sports story.
I like the way you phrased the cinema of the Pacers run, and I had that collective in my top 10, but not as my number 1. And to me, it started with the regular season unbelievable falling out of bounds 3 against the Milwaukee Bucks in that regular season game. That kind of, to me, kicked off what would be just, we talked about moments all morning long. The Pacers just delivered moment after moment after moment. And you just detailed a lot of those. But my specific number 1 moment of the year, good, bad, or otherwise, I believe the Pacers were on the way to winning the NBA championship when Tyrese Hallebertton lost his Achilles heel. And everything kind of started to unfold as game as the rest of the Pacers squad was for a while in that one to keep it going and keep it close. That moment was within 30 seconds. You had the highest of highs thinking they're going to win the NBA championship to, oh my gosh, is this young man going to be okay? All at once. It just, that moment was everything about this year.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of cheating off everybody's exam here, but my number 1 moment, or moments rather, were, to your point, Jeff, the opposite end of the spectrum. You had the game winner in Game 1 from Hallebertton, and that was after him not having really a great game leading up to that moment. They steal the first game, and you're thinking, boy, they have a chance to really do this. And then you get to Game 7, he makes the 3 threes, and then he tears his Achilles. And so I know it's a negative moment, so to speak, because of the Achilles injury, but it undoubtedly, in my mind, is the biggest moment that we had for Indiana sports, the implications, the stage, the moment. But if you're looking for, again, a more positive spin on it, that Game 1 game winner, boy, that was Hoosier-esque. And again, just the whole ride of it, it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. I mean, I got a chance to cover NBA Finals games the first time in my life. I have no idea when or if I'll get that chance again. So thank you to the Pacers for that.
Yeah, and again, everything changes on a dime. We've been talking about it all morning long. To me, that was the number 1 moment. But what an unbelievable 2025 as a whole, Kevin. You've grown up here your entire life. I've lived here for almost a decade and a half now. It's got to be the most amazing run. I mean, I know we had a Super Bowl for the Colts, but it's got to be one of the most amazing years all time in Indiana sports history.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously try not to be prisoner of the moment, but yeah, you'd be hard pressed, I guess, to find something different. I mean, it's a list that has a college football program playing for a national title, like 5th or 6th on it. I mean, I don't even think everybody had Notre Dame on their list. Purdue was a shot away from making the Elite Eight in the football stadium in our state. And how many times does that happen? The Fever story was pretty freaking wild as well.
And overtime period away from being in the WNBA finals without Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. All the Indy 500 drama.
That was my number 6, by the way.
Alex Pillow and, Roger Penske and just all of that, all of those stories there. And I know we laugh at it. Certainly we do. But Caleb, thank you. And Mark Dykton, thank you. Like the off the field stuff, the Mark Sanchez story, the John Hallebertton Giannis, the Mark Sanchez story was pretty national there for, whatever, a handful of days, something like that. Indiana's not always in that sort of spotlight there. So yeah, I think all, WNBA All-Star game.
We didn't even mention the WNBA All-Star game.
Yeah, Caleb had that on his list. So, I think all of that, get a pretty good honorable mention here in 2025 for some of the top 10.
I don't know that any other state in America, just off the top of my head, had more drama, big, meaningful, consequential stories week in and week out than the state of Indiana, James. And I don't know that you can
take
even
that
include
United
all the
States.
Stuff.
How about that?
I was going to say, I don't know. I'm not as plugged into the other places in America, but it was a great year here. I can say that for sure.
I say it all the time as someone who's been on the national sportscasting scene for a long time. Indiana is as fine a place to watch sports, enjoy sports, love sports, and celebrate sports as any place in the country. It just is. And they've done it consciously, whether it's attracting big-ticket items like college football championship games, the consistency of the Big Ten championship game, an NBA All-Star game, a WNBA All-Star game, every few years a Final Four, always NCAA tournament, men and women, NFL, NBA, Big Ten, not even starting on the home of IndyCar racing and all that brings throughout not just the month of May, but throughout other portions of the year as well. And you talk about swimming and swimming championships and big ticket events like that. We didn't even bring that up. It was kind of last year, but it just goes on and on and on, Kevin. And I love that about this place.
Yeah. Swim trials was on my list the previous year.
Yeah.
And I guess it'll potentially be on it here coming up in 2028.
Still one of the coolest things I've ever seen, to see an Olympic-sized swimming pool on the floor of Lucas Oil Stadium, man. That was really cool.
As early as tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we're going to have potentially a game that might be hard to remove off number 1.
Yeah,
of the list, I guess.
For next year.
I almost wanted to put it there.
Purdue basketball might have a chance to, speak to that in April. Yeah. And I don't think the Pacers are going to have some magical run here by any means. But, yeah.
Oh, well, we'll have something on that list. If they get the number 1 pick, number 1 moment might be that.
Yeah, it'll look a little different here.
Pacers, by the way, need a 19-game winning streak to get back to 500 right now.
Bring me AJ DeBanza instead.
Oh, man. All right, Caleb, anything else you want to point out before we wrap up the top 10 list here?
I was just going to throw in two, Kevin, I know, you brought up the passing of Jim Irsay. I was also going to throw in the passing of Nancy Leonard right with that. Just two real important figures to this state and the sports in the state, and made both of those sports, basketball and football, professionally big in this town. So instrumental to that. And yeah, just really cool. And really, James, you threw in a lot of your personal kind of tie-ins to those moments. And I would just say, pretty cool to move to this state this year and have a lot of this stuff happen while I was here. So
Ohio's going to be in your rearview mirror any day now.
Any day now, right? But I repeat a lot of things you said, Jeff, about what a great state this is to be a sports fan.
Yeah, the Nancy Leonard one. Yeah, job well done there, Caleb. I would agree wholeheartedly on that when you think about figures. So, yeah, there's a lot here. I mean, there's a lot from, obviously, the games itself, the figures itself, on the floor, off the floor, unfortunately passings, but that is life. So, hell of a 2025 when you look at it from Indiana sports standpoint.
Man, oh, man. On to 2026, and let's get it started off right with a big game tomorrow, James Boyd. Tell you all about that right here, right now.
The Morning Checkdown on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
We are getting closer and closer to a 4 p.m. kickoff tomorrow afternoon at the Rose Bowl, Pasadena, California. It'll be the Indiana Hoosiers and the Alabama Crimson Tide. James Boyd, the Hoosiers start the day with a 7-point favorite status. How about that?
They've earned it. Number one team in the country, and as Kurt Cignetti said, they're not playing the mystique of Alabama. They're playing the tape. And the tape, to me, says that IU's the better team.
You wanted to get them hungry and humble from the Big Ten championship game till tomorrow. The way that they were talking yesterday kind of sounds like they've been able to accomplish that, Kevin.
Yeah, we'll see what Mother Nature looks like here over the next 24, 36 hours. Sounds like a good amount of rain in there. We're not used to rainy Rose Bowls by any means, but potentially could clear out in time for the 1 o'clock local kickoff out there. But yeah, again, I think Indiana far more the consistent team, and 24-13, I'll go Hoosiers.
All right, first quarterfinal game of the college football playoff comes your way later on tonight. 7:30 kickoff at the Cotton Bowl. It'll be second seed Ohio State, Caleb, taking on Miami. How does this one play out? Does Miami have a chance?
Miami has a chance. I think a lot's been made about their front four and front seven specifically and how that matches up with Ohio State. You're kind of a little nervous because Ohio State got pushed around against Indiana in their last time out. So I think Kevin's right when he says that 9.5 spread is probably a little too big. I do expect Ohio State to win, but should be a good one to kick off this quarterfinal.
All right, and then tomorrow, 12 noon, the first game will be Oregon taking on Texas Tech. That's the 5 seed versus the 4 seed at the Orange Bowl. Then, of course, Alabama, Indiana at the Rose Bowl. That'll be followed tomorrow night, 8 p.m. kick, Ole Miss and Georgia. And we've been talking about Ole Miss and a scattering of their coaching staff still around to try and coach the Rebels through that one.
Welcome to college football in the year of 2025. It is a bit awkward, a bit shady, it's messy. But
just
hey,
a bit, yeah.
Let's just play some games and try to forget about it.
There were 3 bowl games last night. The Independence Bowl won by Louisiana Tech 23-14 over Coastal Carolina. Illinois, James, a winner over Tennessee 30-28 at the Music City Bowl in Nashville. Did you even pay attention to that game?
No, I haven't paid attention since they lost by 1,000 to IU, but shout out to the alma mater. I'll pay attention again when I'm out of debt, so it might be a little while.
All right, the TCU Horned Frogs started a quarterback for the first time, and Ken Seals led them to an overtime victory against USC by a score of 30-27. He threw for 258 yards and a touchdown. That catches you up on college football. College basketball, it was Butler losing at Creighton 89-85. They fall to 10-4 now. They'll play again Saturday at Villanova. Was there anything else we needed to mention for college basketball, James?
One thing to know about the Butler game, for those that didn't watch last night, Evan Haywood was trying his best. Tyrese Hallebertton there at the end. It was wild watching him bang in some threes as Butler tried to make it interesting. But with that Jalen Jackson injury, Michael Ajayi in foul trouble is just not a game they can play. So that's the reality. And Finley Bizjak's got to get back to what he was doing earlier in the year. Still very competitive, on the road at Creighton, a place of the Butler's not had success at all. So big weekend game with Villanova, big one Tuesday with St. John's for some quad one opportunities.
Also, after the game, Coach McDermott said that is a really good basketball team. He was talking about Butler. He was giving them all kinds of kudos after the game. Anything else, college basketball, that you wanted to talk about?
You've neglected Notre Dame already twice this morning, so might as well do it a third time.
Notre Dame.
Why doesn't Notre Dame fall on the list of teams that you read off?
Were they playing with peach baskets in that game last night against Stanford?
85 Bears, 2,000 Ravens.
47-40 was
2025 Denver Broncos.
The amount of bricks shot in that game could build a new stadium.
One day, Jeff will respect Notre Dame basketball.
Well, he shouldn't respect it after last night. I'll tell you
a road win in conference?
Hey, I respect it. I stayed up for a half last night.
How many teams have 2 true road wins before the new year?
56 shots.
That was 11-2 Stanford team, by the way.
They each shot 56 times. One team made 18 shots. The other one made 13 shots. The amount of bricks that were thrown in there, people should be getting insurance claims.
Wow. Later on this afternoon, Pacers at home for a 3:30 tip against the Orlando Magic. 3 p.m. the airtime here at 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Pacers trying to snap a 9-game losing streak, currently with the worst record in the NBA at 6-27. And again, I pointed this out a couple of hours ago, but Kevin, in their defense, they have now used 24 different players this year.
Yeah, it's insane. I would have to look this up, but they might have more transactions this season than the Colts.
It might be true. Colts at Texans on Sunday. They have lost 6 straight. The Colts have. Riley Leonard will start the game at quarterback. Who will and who won't play is kind of a question for various different reasons, James.
Yeah, I will say I just don't think that Sauce Gardner should play. I know other players you have to, factor in injuries, and I do think there's a certain element of you get paid a whole lot of money to play football, so if you're healthy, you should play, but he's not healthy. So why even risk it considering that he is literally the 2 first-round picks you gave up in that trade?
Jaguars will be hosting the Tennessee Titans. With a win there, they can win the AFC South outright and move on to the NFL playoffs. They're already in the playoffs, but the Jaguars are on a roll right now. If you're wondering, the latest Super Bowl odds, the Seattle Seahawks at plus 475 are the favorites right now. The Rams at plus 550, Broncos at plus 700, the 49ers at plus 850, and the Patriots at plus 900. Beginning of the season, would you have selected those 5 teams to be on top?
We talked a little bit about this the other day. I cannot recall a Week 18 entering the playoffs where we've had this much indecision on Super Bowl favorites. You asked Stephen Holder earlier, who's the best team in the AFC? Who's the best team in the NFC? Who's the best team in the NFC West?
Would you say San Francisco right now, or would you say Seattle?
But then it's like, well, if I had to stretch the NFC, what about Philly? What about Chicago?
Philly just won in Buffalo.
Is Green Bay a sneaky 7 seed? That looks like a pretty sneaky 7 seed to me. So, yeah, I think
nobody's
really,
bringing up Mark's Bears.
I did say Mark's Bears.
Did you?
I think both conferences right now. There's a lot of unknown.
Well, it's going to be an exciting playoffs. I wish the Colts were going to be a part of it, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak. All right, coming up in a moment, Rick Carlisle, the head basketball coach of the Indiana Pacers, stops by for his weekly conversation with JB and KB. We'll hear it next.
Heat and cool places where ductwork won't fit using Mitsubishi electric ductless mini splits. You can even wrap them to match your decor.
Find out more at absolutecomfort.org.
Stop just hoping the right applicants find your job. Sponsor it on Indeed and match with quality talent. Start at Indeed.com/credit. Again, that's Indeed.com/credit.
JMV here for Premier Weight Loss. There are 2 Central Indiana locations. That's on North Meridian and in Fishers. I don't do math so well, but I know this, that since July, I have gone from 255 pounds to 178 pounds. Me trying to do math is like you using telehealth. It does not work. Go with the best that is out there. Invested in you. That's Premier Weight Loss. The one thing that I have noticed is my overall health. My blood pressure completely out of whack this time last year. Normal now. My body fat percentage from 35% to 11%. It has been incredible, and it's all thanks to Premier Weight Loss. If you're thinking about doing it, don't wait. Contact Premier Weight Loss today, or check them out online. That's PWLND.com. That's Premier Weight Loss, PWLND.com. Tell them JMV sent you. It's JMV for BullseyeEventGroup.com, the Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. All you can eat, all you can drink. Before each Colts home game, make your game day experience the best it can be. Entertained inside the Bullseye Event Center, and the great food from celebrity chef Kelsey Murphy. That and more, and combo up your passes with tickets to the game. That's the BullseyeEventGroup.com Colts VIP tailgate presented by Hayes & Sons Restoration. Get your passes now. BullseyeEventGroup.com.
When I decided to do something about my thinning hair, I knew I had to pick the right team, and that was We Grow Hair Indy. If you want the best results, you go where the pros go. That is We Grow Hair Indy. They are the gold standard when it comes to hair restoration. Located northwest side, that would be the Pyramids, building number 2, and a free evaluation awaits. You contact them today. It's WeGrowHairIndy.com or call 317-522-2995. Again, that's WeGrowHairIndy.com, 317-522-2995.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. Maybe you've been feeling drafts through your old windows, or they stick when you try to open them, or they outright leak in bad weather. You need the experienced pros at Window Nation. They've installed over 3 million windows and have high-quality options to fit any budget. You could pay a lot less than the other big guys and still get the premium windows you're dreaming of. Their custom-made windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit in your home, and they back it up with the best warranty in the industry. So shut out the drafts. Make opening and closing a breeze. And lock out the leaks for good. Get a great deal on replacement windows from Window Nation today. Go to getwindownation.com or call 866-90Nation for your free estimate. And for a limited time, get 50% off all window styles, plus pay no interest for 5 years. Go to getwindownation.com or call 866-90Nation.
Xfinity is the network you can rely on. Like a close friend who will give it to you straight. The friend who will tell you that new haircut, it's not great. Friends make sure friends get good haircuts. And Xfinity makes sure you get a good deal on Wi-Fi. Xfinity gives you reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi at our best price. This holiday season through January 4th, get gig speed Wi-Fi for just $50 a month for 5 whole years. No strings, no commitments. Just super fast, reliable gig speed Wi-Fi with our best equipment and unlimited data included. Save yourself from questionable decisions and save over Verizon and AT&T. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Internet powered by fiber and connected to premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
How far is too far? In the all-new 2026 Jeep Cherokee, that's up to you. Powered by a new 1.6-liter Turbo 4 engine, it's the iconic SUV, reimagined to put today's adventures and tomorrow's dreams in reach. So go ahead, keep the good times going. The all-new 2026 Jeep Cherokee. Jeep, there's only one. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
The Ride with JMV.
And the Colts losing skid now has reached 6 games.
You have exhausted everything. And you've even seen the good. You saw a 2-month run of the good that came to fruition that failed miserably. There's not any Band-Aids or any patches that will do a damn bit of good until you change everything up.
The Ride with JMV.
Weekdays 3 till 6.
On 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
It's a thief in the night to come and grab you. It can creep up inside.
You're listening to the Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Happy New Year to everybody out there. Certainly safe endeavors tonight for those that are out there. It's kind of become typical for the Indiana Pacers where they are hosting this New Year's Eve game. It's the matinee game, if you will. So 3 o'clock right here on these airwaves. It'll be the Orlando Magic as the Pacers try to end their 9-game losing streak. They've got Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs then coming up on Friday. Talk more about it. We head to the Payless Liquors hotline right now. He is the head coach of the Pacers. He is Rick Carlisle. Coach, Happy New Year to you. Good morning.
Yeah, likewise.
I guess let's just start with the uniqueness of the 3 o'clock start. That definitely doesn't happen too often. What does that do from a schedule standpoint for you guys in terms of preparation on a day like today?
It just moves everything up a few hours. And so, you know, on game days at home, normally we come in the afternoon, 3 hours before game time, and we'll do a film session. We'll do an on-court walkthrough, run through, and then get ready to play. So, you know, instead of coming in at 4, we'll be in there around noon today.
Rick, throughout this 9-game skid, do you see any overlapping themes throughout it that you all need to change to try to, you know, obviously snap it tonight and end the year on a high note?
Yeah. I mean, we gotta fight inconsistency, and there've been a lot of different things that have come up. Certainly, you know, in the Miami game, there were 26 turnovers. You know, it's great to have a good offensive night and get 30 assists, but then when you get 26 turnovers or whatever it was, 37 points or something like that, you just can't just can't survive. So at times rebounding has been a big thing. Obviously, the game against Houston, with their ability to rebound, that was going to be a challenge. Been a lot of things, but no excuses. Another opportunity today against a very good Magic team, and we'll have to be ready.
Again, that's 3 o'clock today. Pacers and Magic. Rick Carlisle with us here. Coach, I think it was over the weekend. Both Pascal Siakam and TJ McConnell had some comments after, I think it was the Boston game. Siakam said something to the effect of, didn't feel like you guys tried hard enough on offense. I think McConnell, mentioned, not fighting the way that we usually do. I know the effort word is probably a word that gets a lot of attention. Have you been pleased with the effort amidst a season that's obviously been very trying?
Overall, we can all do better.
Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle with us here on the Payless Liquors hotline. Starting lineup, Johnny Furphy's gotten a little run here as of late. I know Aaron Nesmith is getting back to work. You've mentioned Furphy, easy guy to root for. When you say that, or easy guy to like maybe, what is it about his game that from a coaching standpoint, he's a guy that you like having out there?
He goes hard. He, unconditionally gives you everything he has. On a team where running is a real priority, he always runs hard. He always does his job in that respect. The other thing is, there are other things, I guess I should say. He rebounds the ball. He's a very active crasher offensively and a very good defensive rebounder. And he's just super unselfish, and plays with a boundless energy and always a very, very good spirit. So, guys like that are winning type players, and you can never have enough of them. I guess you should say you never have too many of them.
Rick, you talk about, not having too many of those types of players. One of those, I would imagine, is Pascal Siakam, 9th in the All-Star fan voting for the Eastern Conference. Have you seen him navigate this season and be a leader when obviously he wants to win at all costs?
Yeah, it's been a difficult challenge for him and really all the guys coming into this. So look, it's important to communicate with all the players, particularly the leaders. So I spent a lot of time talking with him and Andrew Nembhard and Aaron Nesmith, and just keeping a pulse on things, hearing them out, what they see and feel on the court, and we always, all the time, have to be in a problem-solving mode, even when things are good. And right now it's we're not in one of those periods, but in the NBA, it's difficult. Every game is hard. Every team is good. Margins are always slim. Ours are particularly slim this year, and we got to understand that, and we got to do everything we can, to push things beyond a point where, an ordinary effort just isn't enough. So. Again, today, another really strong challenge with the Magic. But great thing about the NBA, you never have to wait too long to play again.
Yeah, it's an afternoon game again. Pacers and Magic, 3 o'clock. We appreciate Rick Carlisle joining us on a game day. Kind of going off James's point with Siakam, for you as the head coach, we talked in the previous segment. You guys might have as many transactions right now as the Colts have had over the course of a 17-game season. It's north of, I think, 20 players have scored a bucket for you, and we're, not even close, really, to the halfway point of the season. How big, I guess, of a challenge has it been for you, just from a coaching standpoint? A, how unique, and B, how difficult?
Both. Yeah, no, it's both. This has been unlike any year I've had, I've had years, we went through the brawl year where we went through difficult times, suspensions, injuries, everything else. But it's a long season,
And so, hope springs eternal. I mean, you've got to keep things positive. We're starting to get a little healthier. That's a good sign. But look, nobody wants to hear about how hard things are and any woe is me type stuff. That's not going to get it. We gotta circle the wagons and do better. Simple as that.
Rick, you talk about not having a woe is me attitude, and one of those guys I think you probably refer to in that same realm is Tyrese Hallebertton. What has it been like seeing him get to rehab on the court before some of these home games recently, and perhaps feeling the energy of the crowd and the excitement of his potential return, obviously, next season?
He's doing great. I would have to think he's ahead of schedule by some pretty good margin. But like technology and rehab and those kind of everything is so much better than it was a few years ago. That and look, he sustained the injury. I forget what time it was, but in less than 24 hours, and the injury happened in Oklahoma. In less than 24 hours, the surgery was completed. And so, you got a lot of things working in the favor of today's athlete. Certainly the timing element there, private airplanes and all that kind of stuff. And Dr. O'Malley has become a trusted friend of many NBA teams, ours certainly included. And he made the time, and that was done very quickly, and that always helps facilitate a more positive rehab situation. So I'm sure people have seen a lot of the videos posted. He's dunked the basketball. He's doing a lot of sprinting. He's doing a lot of everything gets ramped up, and I think every couple of weeks there is a new element introduced to the rehab, and to this point, he's done very, very well with everything.
Rick, we'll end this, and again, we appreciate the time here on a game day. I believe this is the final day for you as the head of the Coaches Association, a very lengthy run for you in that role. Any parting gifts, any final day, I guess, virtual party that they're having for you?
No, I had a call a couple of days ago with J.B. Bickerstaff, who is the incoming president, and just went through with him sort of all the things that have kind of gone on over my 20 years. A lot of the situational things, a lot of the people that I've had the great opportunity to work with in the league office and in many other places, and just giving him a few recommendations about the starting point for him and stuff. But I'm very, very excited. I mean, this was the right time to pass the torch. 20 years, is a very, very long time to do this. He is a great selection by our membership, in the election process. Passionate guy, natural leader. Very, very, very enthusiastic about the coaching profession. His dad, Bernie Bickerstaff, is the guy that, I believe at some point will be in the Hall of Fame as a contributor. First ever African-American president of an NBA franchise. He was a great coach, and he's been a great mentor for many, many decades to so many young coaches and players, myself included. And so JB's learned many great lessons from his dad, and this will be an amazing experience for him. There are a lot of good things on the horizon with the league. There are some challenges to be faced, but things are in overall a good place, and I'm excited for him, and excited to be transitioning out of that position.
Well, congrats on that. Say Happy New Year to you and Donna and the family, and good luck this afternoon, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys. Take care.
Rick Carlisle, Payless Liquors hotline. We'll do it one final time here on the Rose Bowl Eve. It is the Fan Morning Show.
When it came to setting them up for a bright future, Indiana Tech did more for these graduates than they ever imagined.
It helped me land my dream job and continue to serve people.
It put me in a position to help others reach their potential.
It gave me the background and the confidence to keep aiming higher.
It gave me a platform to help make a difference for others.
With flexible online classes, personalized support to help you succeed, over 100 high-quality career-focused certificates, and degrees in in-demand fields like business, healthcare, engineering, criminal justice, information technology, cybersecurity, and more.
I earned a Master's of Business Administration and Marketing.
I completed my Bachelor's of Business Administration and my MBA, Master's of Business Administration.
I was able to graduate with my Bachelor's of Science and Computer Engineering.
Isn't it time to see what Indiana Tech can do for you?
There's no better time than now.
Learn more at online.indianatech.edu.
Registration for the next class session ends January 9th.
Food insecurity is an urgent problem, one that impacts real Hoosiers. You can help today. Gleaners needs donations. Your contribution goes further with Gleaners. For every $10 you give, Gleaners leverages their resources to turn your $10 into $90 worth of groceries for families who desperately need help right now. Your gift benefits local community members, and every dollar counts. Gleaners also needs volunteers now to help with warehouse distribution. Go to gleaners.org and donate or get involved today.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than Saquon Barkley, the NFL's reigning leading rusher. I'm also the NFL's leading husher. Shh, hush up back there. Wow, I might have just set the hushing record. Well, almost. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, Member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
The Lowe's Closeout event means the final savings of the season are here. It's your last chance to get deals on seasonal decor, tools, flooring, and so much more. Refresh your home, check off your project list, or simply stock up on the brands you trust. Shop now to grab amazing deals before they're gone. Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 1/7. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
FIFA World Cup 2026 is coming soon, but your opportunity to be there starts now through an exclusive offer with an eligible Bank of America Visa credit card. For a limited time, become a new customized cash rewards or unlimited cash rewards Visa credit card holder, and you will be eligible for a chance to purchase FIFA World Cup 2026 tickets. Learn more at BofA.com/cardFWC26. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America NA in partnership with Visa. Terms apply. Awards reserved.
Baseball great Lou Gehrig was known as the Iron Horse for playing 2,130 consecutive games. But it was his reaction to his greatest challenge, the fatal diagnosis of ALS, that made Gehrig a household name and a beacon of strength for all those facing the disease. The Live Like Lou Foundation honors Lou's legacy and inspires hope for a world where ALS is no longer fatal. Donate or volunteer today at livelikeLou.org.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. You're listening to The Fan Morning Show on Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Let's go. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time. Yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Woo. Everybody just have a good time. Party rock is in the house.
Okay, Jeff.
I'm here. I'm just grooving. Getting ready to shut down 2025, man.
After our audio hiccups maybe last segment, we should probably speak just to say we're on air.
We are.
Apologies.
I'm not allowed to groove too? Come on.
You're allowed to.
I thought we were going to pay copyright, for that song there for a second.
Apologies there to a little sped up Rick Carlisle at times.
I heard that on the stream. So.
With that, James, I did find the very short answer to the effort question, which Siakam and McConnell both were pretty public in that over the weekend. Clearly, that's kind of on the list of things. And it is weird because when you look at it, I would argue they've been worse offensively than they have defensively. You would think if it's a big effort issue, you'd have some more issues defensively than they've had. But clearly that is something on the mind as the Pacers try to end a 9-game losing streak.
I'll say this real quick, though. I do think when you talk about effort, it always goes to the defensive side of things.
Right.
It certainly can go to the offense as well.
Yeah. I know later on today you guys are going to be out at Colts West 56th. Obviously, they're wrapping up the season with no playoffs in sight or anything like that. What are you most looking forward to finding out today, James? What's your mission as you go out there today?
Mission, okay, that means I got to get like some dark shades and, go rogue or something like that and jump a fence.
Get a fedora.
Yeah, get a fedora. Get a little mustache going. I think, one, Kevin, in all seriousness, will Phillip Rivers be on the active roster? Like, will he be available for this team come Sunday, or will they just demote him, considering that they did sign another quarterback in Seth Hennigan and also knowing that Riley Leonard will start? So what is his role, status for Sunday's game? I guess from an injury standpoint, is Sauce Gardner in or out? From another injury standpoint, is Anthony Richardson officially not going to return in any capacity this year? Is he not going to be activated? I guess stuff like that is kind of what I'm looking at housekeeping-wise. But as far as big picture stuff, I think a lot of the questions we ask, Kevin, at this point will get met with the same sort of answer. Oh, we got one more game to play. We're not focused on that just yet. But, boy, do I want to just jump to the part where I ask Shane, and maybe I will, might not get another opportunity too after today or the next couple of days. But just how would you kind of square or summarize this whole season?
Let's put Daniel Jones and Alec Pierce in a different category. Let me throw some free agents at you guys, and you stop me when you say they need to be brought back.
Okay.
Braden Smith, Mo Alley Cox, Kwity Paye, Samson Ebicom, Jermaine Pratt, Nick Cross.
Yes. I like Nick Cross. I think he's a guy you can do some different things. Is he going to be one of your frontline players?
I thought your guys' mics might have been off there for a second. Damn, I didn't hear much.
Well, I think a lot of
mic
guys...
issues this segment.
Yeah, I was going to say. And we got more mic issues?
I'm going to say, Caleb, you could have chimed in, brother. That was a no. And then when we got to Nick Cross, to me, to be quite honest with you, it might still be a no because I'm not paying
two safeties big money. I know.
Yeah, I get it.
And I hear you, Jeff. I do think Nick Cross has had some really nice moments this season. James, nothing on Braden Smith?
No. That's a no for me. And I
think that was the torch to Jalen Travis.
Yeah, and I think even before the injuries kind of knocked him out at the end of this year, that was always going to be the case. It kind of felt like a Ryan Kelly situation where you drafted the future, and then he also got a chance to play, so you feel pretty confident in Jalen Travis moving forward. So, yeah, and then you got to get cheaper at some point, even if you're going to rebuild, running back, whatever, you got to get cheaper at some point in that unit. So that was an easy one for me.
You know, we talk a lot about Chris Ballard, and the criticism I think is very warranted. I think a major credit he deserves is he has found some really nice hits on the offensive line in those middle-ish rounds. You know, Bernard Ryman, I think, is definitely one of those, and I think the first years of starting fully for Tanner Bortolini and Matt Gonzalez look to be pretty solid. You know, Jalen Travis, you know, albeit very small sample size, I think there's some promise there. So I do think that's an area where Ballard deserves some credit.
And then there's places that he just continually misses, specifically along the defensive edge and edge rusher.
Yeah, good
It's
point. And that
it's
might
such an
be
important
the
part
biggest,
of the NFL today.
You know, you can break it down. You know, James, the old counting resume is probably how I refer to it. You've gotten used to it, the 0-1-2, right?
Yeah.
Zero division titles, 1 playoff win, 2 playoff appearances. That is an ugly part. The draft pick of Anthony Richardson, how that's gone, that is an ugly part of the resume. You could make the argument, given how Chris Ballard views defensive line, now he's invested, that's the ugliest part of the resume. Because in his eyes, it's one of the biggest things for him. In his eyes, defensive line is a must priority. And if you look at all the resources into that group, that might be the ugliest part of the resume.
All right, very quickly before we finish up 2025 here, we got a big game tomorrow. Rose Bowl, New Year's Day, Indiana, Ohio State. James, your official pick for the game.
Oh, I got to roll with IU, baby. I'll have the candy stripe pants on tomorrow for sure.
I'm going to go. You got a score, or what are you thinking?
Oh, I haven't thought about a score. I'll go 30-27.
I'm going to go bigger than that. I'm going to go Indiana 27-17.
24-13 Hoosiers.
I like it. So I got a couple of double-digit.
I think it'll be
wins over
closer.
here. Mr. Ohio State, very quickly.
Yeah, Indiana 24-17.
All right, those are the official picks. It's going to wrap it up. Indiana Pacers, Orlando Magic coming your way. Pre-game coverage starts at 3 right here on 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Jake Query at noon. Stay with us.
If it's happening with the Indianapolis Colts,
they give it to Taylor.
Then it's happening on the Fan.
Jacksonville has the lead for the first time. The first touchdown of the season for Mo Alley Cox, and he made it with one hand. Colts back on top into the end zone, and it is intercepted by Jacksonville. Antonio Johnson ends the game, and the Colts losing skid now 6 games.
Sports Radio 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The official home of the Indy Sports Fan.
Welcome to Wawa. We're open 24/7, so when the sun goes down but everyone's still up, Wawa has your late night fuel. Headed to a hangout? Stop in for snacks and sodas. Binge your favorite shows with burgers and hoagies. Gather around the table with garlic knots and a cheesy Wawa pizza. Or just chill on the couch with fries and whatever milkshake sounds good. Your night just got a whole lot tastier. Freshly made burgers, pizza, and so much more. When you got a late night craving, you gotta